Today's episode is brought to you by our good friend and sponsor Brian Miller over at United Real Estate Chicago. The only realtor Mike and I trust when buying or selling a home. Links are in the description below.
Are you thinking about buying or selling a home? Or maybe you just have questions about the real estate market. Hi, I'm Brian Miller, and I'm a licensed real estate professional serving the Chicagoland area. People know to call me when they need a problem solved. Through research, troubleshooting, and asking the right questions, there isn't an issue that we can't overcome together. If you're buying, I'll help you find the home that fits your wants and needs. If you're ready to sell, my goal is to get your home in front of the masses and do everything it takes to net you the most money. Since entering the industry in 2014, I've experienced navigating various types of markets, as well as assisting clients with short sales, probates, and selling homes that have been sitting on the market. In other words, if you want to work with an award-winning real estate agent, make the process as easy and stress-free as possible, you've come to the right place. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Brian Miller, and I can't wait to connect with you.
Hey, welcome to IMO in my opinion with J&M. Jonathan.
I probably shouldn't drink right before you ask me something.
How are you?
Oh, I'm getting sauced.
Already?
No, not yet.
It's just
it's
wine,
gonna happen.
man. It's
gonna happen
literally, what is it,
eventually.
fermented fruit?
Fermented grapes?
Grapes.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, what's going on here?
Turn people's mics on.
I'm on it. I got there. I apologize. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Had a good day at work.
Wow, that's a change.
For once, yeah.
I know,
Right?
that's unique. Write this day down in your calendar.
Yeah.
Why did you have a good day, real quick?
I don't know. I didn't do much. I
Sounds like a
cheated
great
the county.
day.
It was great. We went to pick up 6 pallets of pumpkins for some odd reason.
6 pallets of it's Halloween.
Yeah. They have something going on, some
I see.
occasion. We a couple flew off the truck, but that's all right. We won't talk about
Did
that.
you cause a major accident or
It
something?
might have. Who knows? I didn't look back.
Wow. Wow, that's great.
Why would
That's
you?
great. We have guests today, like we always do. I will let them introduce themselves one at a time. Whoever wants to go first.
After you, good sir.
I am Marlon Servellon. I am the co-founder of Raven Roulette Entertainment. My job duties primarily on the group is probably right now producer, story writer, occasional actor.
Yeah, and I'm Brian Streiff. I'm number 2, essentially. I do all the directing and editing and writing with this guy. So I've been at it for now for like 10 years now.
Hey, I'm number 2 too, but I don't do any of that stuff.
You got it easy. You sure you're number 2? You're like not Spock. Spock was never called number 2, right? Who was number 2 in the other show?
Talking about
You're thinking about Next Generation. Yeah.
Riker.
Number one.
Riker.
You're Riker. Number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1. Never mind.
So you're number 1.
You're
All
number 1.
right. I'll take that.
I'd say you're more of a. No, I would say you're more of a Data. But
No, I'm not that smart.
Did you
anyway.
know on that show that the name he was supposed to be pronounced Data?
Was it really?
That's the American pronunciation because people from the U.S. wrote the show, but because the guy who played Picard was English,
Patrick Stewart?
he pronounced it
Data.
Data.
Oh.
Data.
It
And so
stuck.
everyone heard that and they just went with how he
I
pronounced
would
it.
say that's a good choice because it was.
worked out.
Yeah. I remember it.
It's a little nerdy fact, so I'm full of useless trivia.
So you guys are in production,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
what entails that? Like, what's a typical day for you guys?
So, things kind of slowed down during the whole COVID situation. So, before that, we were constantly trying to create new projects constantly. We eventually, moving towards now, we're thinking there's a lot of actors out there that don't have film reels that need to get their stuff out there.
Right.
So we're thinking
Took our idea. we had the same idea. I guess
Yeah.
we're
There's
committed.
plenty. There's plenty to go
plenty
around.
to go around.
Of course.
And, we really want to, moving forward, essentially, we're really working on trying to to get people together that are interested in getting their stuff out there, trying to give them the best content that they can get, you know, because they're going to be writing it, editing it, and all that fun stuff. So I think right now, daily life is just trying to work on our current 2 projects and trying to get that business lifted up right now.
Right on.
So this is a full-time thing, right?
No.
No. We
I
also
wish.
have 9 to 5. 9 to 5. 9 to
Yeah,
5.
man.
So what do
I
you
got
guys do besides that?
I mean, I got my warehouse job, and I stream at night every night pretty much.
Right on. What do you stream?
On Twitch, I'll be streaming like video games, or we'll do some rabbit hole.
What are you playing?
Right now, what am I playing? I was playing Alien Isolation.
What are you playing it on?
PC.
You're a PC guy?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not.
See,
I'm
I
not,
used to
I'm
be
not
console.
friendly with you.
What do you
Yeah,
play?
see-
Well, first, hold on. Let me be honest. I don't play it that much anymore because I don't know about you guys. Obviously, you still play.
Yeah.
But like, that doesn't entertain me anymore like it used to. Like I find more entertaining editing this podcast for some reason than
Right.
playing a video game for some. It doesn't stimulate me as much anymore. Like I literally turned on my Xbox maybe like a week ago, and I didn't recognize the dashboard from the last time I played it.
Fucking
Probably
guy.
had like three freaking updates. I played Halo for like 10 minutes, and I'm just like, okay, I'm done with this.
You know, I
You know?
can feel that because like you're saying, you don't get the same stimulation like you got it when you're, 15, 16, 17 years old.
But I kind of blame the games in a way and how they do things now. So like when me and him used to play a lot when we were younger on the original Xbox or whatever, and when people played Halo, it was so entertaining because you could talk shit and hear it, and there was no separations between, like there wasn't parties or clans or whatever. You just talking shit the entire time. You know, the best part was when the fight was when it was over and then everybody's in the lobby before it goes back to the main screen. And that was fun.
Epic.
Yeah.
Now it's the
Epic.
most quietest thing in the world. And I'm like,
Weren't people getting killed over those games with like swatting? Like there'd be like petty disputes online, and then like
I've
the people
had
who would,
several.
like they
I've
would
had
lose,
several.
and then like they would like just go off on each other and be like, okay, like they would do the prank call to send the police to the guy's house, and like people could get like arrested.
Me and a
or-
guy were supposed to meet up at an airport to fight. I don't know what happened to that. One of us chickened out.
no, I mean, I get it. Yeah, I guess it maybe, you know, now everything's a little more censored nowadays,
Way more.
which
Yeah.
is to its defense a good thing. And, you know, but
No,
sometimes
it's
I guess for an adult, it's a bad thing.
I got-
We got a kick out of fucking just talking shit.
I got
yeah.
kicked
That's
out
what
of
we do.
Overwatch for a month and a half because of my language.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, plenty of reports on me.
But so I'm an Xbox guy. I don't really play it too much anymore, to be honest. But I always had a thing against PCs, especially when the Xbox, the newest one came out,
Right.
and then they opened it up to letting the PC guys play with us online. And I'm like, this
I
shit ain't
see.
fair. This shit ain't fair. 'Cause
I see.
Man, they're like, and the funny thing is my buddy played on PC at work, right? And we played a couple times. And this man's just letting rounds go like nobody's business. How you doing that? He goes, but it's with the mouse. You just scroll the damn thing and it just starts shooting or
Yep.
however you plan it. I'm like, what? That's not fair. I can't scroll anything. Like I've always felt like they should keep us separate from
I get it.
the PC
Because
people.
it really is unfair because I can just mouse you, just
See?
done.
You see what I'm
Done.
saying?
I'm sorry.
It's kind of, I mean, again, it is what it is. But okay, so a day for you, what would it be like? Same thing or?
Like a production wise?
Yeah, production-wise.
Well, production wise, like when we decide to do something, like how the rundown would go would be like, okay, one of us comes up with an idea, we write it down. Usually I end up writing a sketch or an outline of like what the idea is.
Okay.
And then I send it to you, and he'll go over it and be like, okay, this works, that works. And then like, we'll just whittle out like when we're okay with what the outline is.
Yeah, constant rewrites.
And
going
then
back and forth.
once we're okay with the outline, then I'll start. I'm not the strongest dialogue writer. I'm not the most confident in it, but I do try it. So then I'll start writing out dialogue for the characters, and then I'll just sketch out an entire script, based off of what we just decided. Then I hand it back to him. And then there were times when when we did our little web series back in the day, it was a comedy, and I would write episodes out. And they're supposed to be funny. I'm writing in jokes and all this kinds of stuff. So I'm writing in, laughing, and thinking it's really good. Then I hand it to you, and we're sitting down, and he's just looking at it's like my teacher grading my homework, and he's very quietly just looking at it
This dude's sitting there timid, like
And he gives you one of these.
he's just waiting for me to laugh or something. Yeah,
And no,
Oh, he can't hear it. He can't hear the sound
And-
effect. I just gave you the Price is Right. You lost thing.
and he's going through the whole script and just like this. And I'm sitting there like, man, this my shit must suck, man. I'm not funny at all. And by the end of it, he's just like,
Not bad.
okay, this is all right. It's good, but it needs some work. So why don't you try this, and why don't we try that? Why don't you change this around and change that around, or keep this and keep that and take this out? Okay.
Is this a drama? No, it's a comedy.
Well, I mean, it's good that you guys work together because I've had him in my life for most of my life.
I don't like
All
the
of
way
my
you
life.
phrase that.
All right, calm down there, sir. So like I'm kind of like you. I'm not a writer per se. I like to dabble in it, but I know like I spelled 30 fucking things wrong, 100 things wrong. I miss fucking
Grammatical errors.
Yeah,
It's good to have an extra set of eyes, like, to look over your stuff.
right. So I tend to give it to 2 or 3 people to read just so I can get because I've always felt like if you do it all yourself, you're so focused on what you're thinking it's going to be, you kind of get this tunnel vision and you don't ever really look at it in other angles. You're just looking at it how you see it, So I think it's very useful to let other people read stuff.
Yeah, but there is the times when like you do give it to someone to read, and then like they'll give you like advice that's completely contrary to like something you already have set in your mind that you want to do.
Right.
You're like, I like this, but like I don't agree with this. You should change it to that. But in your deep down in your heart and your mind, you're like, oh, I'm feeling that. I want to keep that in there. So it's
But
like,
it is beneficial to have the option. Just so even, because
True,
maybe it's
true.
something you didn't think about. I try to, whenever I would have an edit, I would try to just, even if I didn't want to go that route,
right.
I considered it because a lot of times I'll read it and be like, oh shit, I never thought about that. Or, oh shit, man, you know what? That can help get to the point that I'm trying to get to or whatever, But I agree with you. Sometimes, you have a scene or a moment you want or whatever, and you're not budging from that shit. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
it's always good. To
And that's
bounce
the
around.
thing too, is like you'll be like everything's all set up ready to go, and then somebody will come to you last second like, can we do this instead? And I'm like,
No,
I would love to, and I'm open to I'm always open to suggestions, but right now we gotta get this done. We got 45 minutes. Hurry up.
You're the catering person, okay?
So you guys write. So you guys are doing this for reels, right? For actors.
Yeah.
So you're writing everything for them and the whole 9
We
yards, or-
haven't done that yet. Like
Okay,
going
so
into
that's
like them.
the idea.
That's something that we want to try to get into.
Okay, right on. You guys have filmed short films before, stuff like that.
We have it all
Series.
started with State of Disgrace, our web series,
Okay.
which was mostly like a practice run for us. Trying to figure out how do we do this, how we do that. We had the Canon Rebel T3i.
T3i.
Yeah, we were running with that. We didn't know how to use it. We had no external sound. Good times,
Yeah.
You put that out. Okay, it's kind of shaky. Next season, we're going to get better sounds.
But there's some good stuff there.
Oh,
like
there's
in
good
season
stuff
1.
there.
There were some good jokes and some moments where we're like, that's good. I still like that. Like,
So we're like, we need better sound because if the quality's bad, if the sound's good, people are more willing to listen to it or watch it. So we got a little external sound piece. We glued it to a mop pole.
no, it was a windshield wiping
There
pole
you go.
that extended.
There
I was
you
just
go.
like,
Yeah.
and it worked.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think we all start, right? Everyone starts. We had to start. We started this podcast a long time. If you watch the first episode, it's fucking good. That's terrible.
Can't even watch it. It was all
It's audio. It's just audio by itself. But I agree with you. I think one thing that young filmmakers, which I am also part of it, I'm still very green out. I don't mean it in a descending or
condescending.
a condescending way. One thing I think a lot of people skip on is audio. They fall in love with the camera, but the camera is an aspect of it. And for me, I'm more of the I can deal with less video, but not audio, because audio sounds bad to me, and I'm an audio guy, so that's fucking distracting.
Yeah.
It is.
More than you miss your pull on focus.
I've been
Does that
to a
make sense?
couple of like screenings recently for like films. I'm not going to say what they are, but like, and
Oh, please do.
no. And I'm surprised to see like things like sound not being like properly like synced or like properly like balanced in scenes. There's some sequences I would watch and some screenings. One I went to last year where I'm just like the music is too loud and the
Can't hear
actor's
them.
audio is too low,
Right.
or the audio is too low and the music is too low. I mean, like it's just like complete. I'm like, did you not watch this like before you streamed it?
Oh my
Like,
god!
It looks like
you
a-
sound like me, because I've said that a million times. Like,
Yep.
dude, did anybody watch this before you actually put it out?
looks
And I'm
like-
not just trying to talk shit.
It
I'm
looks
being
like
real.
Asian movie dubbing.
Yeah, it's just
Something like that.
and here's the funny thing. Again, I'm not saying I'm some fucking pro or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but I watch a lot of stuff.
You
I
tell
do a
me
lot of
that all the
research.
time.
You're not a fucking pro.
No, that's what you told me.
I watch a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of videos on audio and video, and I try to, learn what I can. I put a lot of fucking attention to when I'm editing, if I'm filming, at least as much as I can, because I feel like every aspect of it needs the same amount of attention.
Yeah.
You can't just fucking be killer on the camera, but then your audio, you're using, I'm not going to say, well, you're using an iPhone and you're holding it with your hand to freaking record audio. It doesn't necessarily work. It's not going to match up.
Yeah.
You got to invest just equally as much.
You learn so much as you go on as well.
Of course,
like
yes.
with like the second season of our show, we got a second camera, a second T3i, like
Right.
Rebel, and we got an external microphone. So the sound is a considerable improvement from the first one. And visually, it even looked better. And people would comment like, oh, wow, it looks a little bit better. You guys get a better camera? Like, no, it's the same camera. We just learned how to use it.
Right. Or you learn little things. You learn angles. You learn how to tell a story better.
You learn
with
how
shots.
to use ISO and shutter speed and all that shit. Like,
Because a lot of people don't do that. It's not a point and shoot thing. I guess it can be. Let me take that back.
Mhm.
Can it be a point and shoot thing? Sure. Can you grab an iPhone and record a film and it turn out decent? Sure. Are there things you could do to make it hella better that are really easy? Like getting in the right frame rate, getting in the right ISO, the right shutter speed, the right frame for a film versus a YouTube video, which kills me. That bothers me so much. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Wait.
So like when you do a video on YouTube, like this podcast goes up in 16:9,
right.
but a film is not in 16:9.
Yeah.
It's in the thinner, ultra wide kind of 2:41 or whatever aspect ratio. That to me drives me insane because I'm like, that little difference adds so much cinematic feel to it for some reason.
It really does.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, when was the last time you saw a film that was 16:9? Never.
yeah.
No.
Never.
Not anymore, at least. Shit.
And that drives me bananas. It's such a small thing, but people just don't pay attention to it.
But sometimes have you noticed like when you upload something, it seems to almost sometimes download the quality of the original video you had. When
But
you're
that's
watching it on-
compression. That's
Yeah.
the compression problem with YouTube, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're watching it on your computer screen like this looks fantastic, and then when you put it up on the YouTube like
You start
channel,
to see pixelation.
it's just like
and shit.
it still looks fine, but it's like it just doesn't look quite as good as what it did like when we were watching it on the computer screen just the night before.
Unfortunately, that's kind of the byproduct because I think the maximum file you can upload on YouTube is like 250 gigs. I think is the max.
Oof.
So if you have anything bigger than that, you got to make it smaller. Plus, on top of that, YouTube is going to compress it even more.
And they want to charge you for their service now.
Do they really?
They want to start charging you.
Oh,
Like, you want
jeez.
to
We're going
use
to
ad
Rumble.
blocker? Don't use that.
We're
no
going to
more.
Rumble.
Rumble.
There's
kidding,
becoming
I'm
more and more
kidding.
restrictions on YouTube.
I'm kidding.
Like,
Yeah, it's getting insane.
I was gonna say don't badmouth them. That's our only like platform. Like, what
For
else
now.
they got?
For now.
for
They
now.
need more
Oh,
competition.
come on, like what are they gonna do? Like,
You're canceled now, Marlon. God.
Seriously. So let's talk about films.
All right.
Favorite film genre for you guys. By the way, can I say something who you kind of look like?
Who?
In a strange way? Like a Tom Hanks.
I've heard that before. Like, you're not the
see it,
first
Tom?
person to say that to me. Like I have heard that before.
Like from here up, I can totally see you. If you wanted to stand in from, bro, you can make a career off that
Tom
shit.
Hanks, I don't know.
A
I say
box
more
of
his-
chocolates, you know, white soup, you know.
I bought me a box of wine.
There you go.
But so movie wise, what do you guys enjoy?
You want to go first? Or?
I mean, oh, man, it's-
like genres,
Genres,
or
like-
just okay.
see, that's tough because
Let's start there because we jump into movies and it just gets
yeah,
kind
it
of
can get messy.
yeah.
God,
So for me, it's tough because I've always been a movie guy. I've always loved movies. You know, I love a good Western. I love a good horror. I've always been a horror, like since I was little.
I said horror for a second.
horror.
My cousin.
Yeah, we had that problem before with
Horror movies.
My
There we
cousin
go.
was talking
There we
about
go.
Horror
movies.
And like dark comedies and stuff. Like I love the dark sense of humor in films and whatnot. I don't know what type of films are you into?
I like sci-fi.
Yes, sci-fi.
You gotta love action films.
all of them.
Dark comedies. I like fantasy. Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit all over the place.
Okay, that's fair. Jonathan, what do you like?
I like dark comedies too.
You like dark comedies?
The Burbs with Tom
The
Hanks.
Burb. We were just watching that like
You
not too long
were?
ago. The Burbs was
Popped up
awesome.
I
6
bring
months
that
ago, yeah.
movie up all the time,
It's
and
such
nobody
a
knows what
super
the hell.
underrated movie.
Are you saying the Burbs, like
Burbs.
suburbs?
Yeah,
the suburb,
Burbs.
the
Yeah.
I have
Burbs.
no idea what the movie is.
You've never
See?
seen the Burbs?
Starring Tom Hanks right here.
Yeah, starring me. Like, I was there.
You're more like
I
his
have not
son,
seen,
right?
I have not seen your film.
It's a good dark comedy film. I highly recommend
I
that
have
film.
not seen it. Now, here's a good question for you guys. Maybe you guys suffer from because you guys are involved in the film industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys still enjoy films, like watching films, or has it changed since you guys got involved in the cinematography acting game?
If they're well done, I don't pay attention to anything technical about them. But if they're on the indie level, I do notice things like very glaring things like sound or lighting,
Right.
or just acting quality or writing or those drive me nuts when I go to certain screenings and I see that.
Okay.
I'm just like, yeah, like it's very notable. But when it comes to like movies, like, you know, professionally, like well done films, I can still watch them and have a good time.
Okay, sir.
You know, I'm a little different because I think God, where's I gonna go with this? Whenever I watch a film now, like these days, I'm overanalyzing them. I'm trying to see how the shots are done. I'll notice the littlest thing these days. It's almost
You've
it ruins
turned into
films for
him.
me.
Yeah, you've turned into
Now,
him.
but if the show is really good, I can lose myself in it. But a lot of times I'm just like, okay, how do they do that? Oh, okay, I think we can do that. And I'll call this guy and be like, hey man, did you see this movie?
Oh, we got something in common, my friend, because I am the same way. Like I cannot. It's hard for me unless the show or the movie is spectacular.
Yeah.
Like the last show, and it's old, and I just saw it because one of my friends mentioned. I never knew it even existed. The last show that really gripped me to watch the entire thing was the Chernobyl Netflix thing.
That was really good.
I never
Or
saw
not Netflix. Is it on Netflix or
It was HBO.
HBO.
Yeah.
That thing grabbed me, and it didn't let me fucking go.
Everything about that was great. The way it was shot,
Yes,
using the
acted,
classic documentary footage from it.
Everything was perfectly done, and I literally focused on the film. But even like, let's say the last Spider-Man flick, which was good, right?
What was that? No
Saw
Way
that in
Home?
the theater
Way
with
Home.
him.
No Way Home. It was a good film, and I'm with my sister in the theater and my cousin, and there's a shot of Tom Holland in the rain, and I bump my sister. I'm like, that's a great looking shot.
But there's so
great shot.
there's so many plot holes in that film, but like you're having
Sure.
such a good time with it, like just like entertainment wise, you don't think about it.
Oh yeah, those 3 hours flew by fast.
You know what I do now too? When I watch anything, I notice mistakes more than ever in my life.
You'll see a glass like lower than it was of the previous shot.
Yeah,
You're like,
or
wait a second, I
any
would
little
have done
thing
that.
I notice it or whatever, or like someone's not looking or someone's reading off of a cue cards or whatever. I notice the most stupidest things now, and it kind of ruins the lore of it.
Yeah.
You know, like my sister, I told my sister, let's go watch Saw or what's the other horror movie that came out with
Exorcist.
The Exorcist. She's like, no, I can't go watch that. I'm like, you know it's fake, right? And she's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like, if she knows it's fake, we know that it's super, super, super fake.
Right.
Does that make sense? So like horror movies don't bug me anymore. They bugged me when I was a kid. They don't bug me anymore because I know at some point, like even in the Exorcist trailer, which kind of gave me chills a little bit when I saw the trailer, I'm like, at some point someone just said, cut. That was great.
Right.
Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and that just kind of turns it all off for me. You know, like it's just like it
A
doesn't feel the
horror
same.
movie can still get me. It just depends on like how good the story is and how good
That's
the
true.
characters
And
are.
character development, because like, are you gonna make a horror movie where you're rooting for the killer, or are you gonna create a horror movie where you're rooting for the main actress or actor?
Right.
Because like, if you don't care about the main actress or actor, I mean,
And
there's
FYI,
nothing to investigate.
since there's like how many Saws movies already? There's like a
10
bunch
now, I think, or something.
Supposedly this one was actually pretty good. I don't know if you guys saw it, but supposedly it was
seen it
pretty
yet.
good.
I've heard it was decent.
I heard it
haven't
was
seen
probably one of the
Something
better ones.
different.
Yeah.
God. You know what? I would love for them to make you guys ever played Dead Space?
Yeah.
I've seen the
I
movies of Dead Space, those animated films.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw.
but I want
those are
a
fantastic.
real fucking movie.
That'd be great.
That'd
A
be
Dead Space
awesome.
film would be great.
Those are challenges though. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't think every video game in history, how many video game movies are successful?
There's
Not too many.
I'm
Not
gonna tell
too
you right
many.
now, I did enjoy the first Mario movie. I'll say it, the 1990s
Oh
Mario
my
movie.
God.
Oh wow!
I find that movie
Well-
fascinating.
Wait, how old were you? How old were you?
I'm gonna give him.
I'm 38. I'm gonna
I'm
be
gonna
39.
Okay.
I'm gonna give him an Arnold real quick. He's got to get it. I'm sorry for that movie. You got to get
You are
this.
stupid.
No,
You gotta get that. I'm sorry.
that movie is fantastic. If you watch it for it not being a Super Mario movie and just
Oh my
this
God.
weird like trifecta of like
Dude,
madness, there's so much enjoy
I'm
in
sorry.
that.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie is a better movie than that movie,
God, the original one,
and that was pretty bad. When they're
was pretty rough.
skydiving and Tommy's on
Is
the
that the one with Ivan Ooze?
surfboard. Yeah, when
And the
Ivan
Red Hot
Ooze-
Chili Pepper song is playing in the
Yeah,
background.
that was ridiculous. How's he surfboarding? How is he snowboarding in the sky?
He just is.
He's a Power Ranger.
Don't
guys.
question
It's-
it. Like,
That's true.
Mighty Morphin magic. You know?
Seriously, yeah. Mario, really? I can't get over
That movie,
get over-
John
that was
Leguizamo
terrible.
was drunk the entire freaking film, and you can tell, and it's great. 'Cause I love those cheesy, horrible movies like The Room. Was that other one that we watched?
Fateful Findings,
Samurai Cop.
Samurai Cop.
We
Oh my
seek out these movies.
Those
I'd
sound
love to
like-
make
like-
something like
So
it,
you're a fan like of 80s weird like type
like
of
cheesy. Like, oh,
Yeah.
there's just so much fun. There's so much fun
yeah.
because
I mean,
these
Super
people who
Mario
are making
Brothers, you
those
gotta like
films-
just laugh at the film and have fun with it. Like,
Yeah, I get- I
and
guess.
not take it seriously
if
at all.
you look at it and just take away the
How can
whole
you?
Super Mario part and just take that away, I guess.
the
But
whole John Leguizamo.
But yeah, it's true. Like, did you know? Like, that he admitted in interviews like that they were taking shots like throughout the film.
so
Like,
so why
him
was
and
he-
Bob Hoskins?
So why was he so fucking upset about the new one? I'm like, I mean, they just didn't want him to be involved. I mean, what are you mad about? Like, he was so
guess.
irate about it, about that whole thing. But whatever. Nonetheless, that's a whole different topic.
John Leguizamo's not like John Leguizamo anymore. Like,
Ain't the
he hasn't
pest.
been himself in many years.
Well, let's
Like,
be real. How good was John Leguizamo?
He is for early stand-up stuff. That was fantastic.
Stand up, acting wise.
He had some.
Sid the
the clown in
Sloth.
Spawn was amazing.
I think he had.
Oh yeah.
I
He
think
was
he had.
amazing as a clown.
I think he had chops, but he wasn't. He was never going to be a leading man.
No Jim Carrey.
Yeah, he was never going to be a leading man.
Yeah.
I mean, and the fact that I'm more power to him because he does it for a living. I wish I could do that for a fucking living, right? But I think he needs to come down a little bit to earth. He's not that type of actor. He's not a fucking Gary Oldman. He's not to a lesser
You
extent.
and this Gary Oldman, I
Hey,
swear to
is
God.
Gary
Hey,
Oldman not a
I could
great
talk
actor?
about Gary Oldman all day.
There we go. See, John, he thinks Gary Oldman's a
Favorite Gary
a-
Oldman movie.
Leon the Professional.
Professional.
No. Leon the Professional. I'm in between that one and I love his Air Force One thing with when he was the Russian. Not Russian.
Jeez.
Was it Russian?
No, I think it was Russian. I haven't seen that movie in a while.
I love those. He's such a chameleon.
Oh, he's my favorite actor.
He's my favorite. He's right there on the wall.
That's a great
He's
thing
right
about
there on the
him.
wall.
That's
He's
the great thing
awesome.
about him is that, you have actors like Harrison Ford where you know what you're getting. You're getting Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
You always know it's Harrison Ford. But then you have these great actors who are completely different people, and you believe that they're completely different people.
Like Arnold. Jeez.
What?
We'll get to Arnold in a minute.
Oh
But I want to
my
finish on Gary Oldman for a second.
Look, Gary.
Like-
go ahead.
My favorite Gary Oldman performance, and I think it's a movie that I think is flown under the radar for so many years, and it's super underrated. And it's a shame that like it really received little to no attention when it came out. Was Immortal Beloved, where he played Beethoven.
I've never even heard of that.
Jesus
I
Christ!
think I saw
Oh
it on
my god!
TV
And
one time.
That's
I'm not
my
gonna lie to you.
favorite Gary Oldman film.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I went through a summer of just I would put Gary Oldman in every search engine and every streamer and just play most of his movies while I was working. And I played Beethoven for real.
He played Beethoven.
Holy shit!
He
Check
pulled
out.
it off probably.
Well, he
Oh.
pulls off. He's good at it. I cannot name a film where I think Gary Oldman did poorly.
No, I can't.
I mean,
I
even
can't refer to Gary Oldman's
even in Oppenheimer, he had the smallest role. He played President.
I didn't know he
Truman?
was in there.
He played Truman, and he's a small ass role, and it's like whatever. But even then, I'm like, hey, he did pretty well. Like I can say that about Arnold though. I mean, Mr. Freeze, that was pretty bad. That was
Mr. White
pretty
Christmas.
That was the writing.
A
That wasn't
freeze
the
is coming.
acting.
Oh no, my favorite line in that movie was "Freeze in hell, Batman."
bad. Could you be cold, Batman? You got 5 minutes to unfreeze the bird.
See?
It's terrible.
memorable.
I've actually never watched that film in its entirety.
I've
Oh my God.
See,
I've
you
only
gotta-
seen it in parts throughout
Those
my
are
life.
one of those movies you got to watch like Super Mario. You just watch it for the fucking
Exactly.
kick, for the terribleness. of
Sure, why
You know,
not?
people 20 years from now are like, oh man, I love Batman Begins. Like, Or not Batman.
That one's Batman and
Forever?
Robin. That one's a Robin.
Batman and Robin.
That bro,
So
Batman
many
and
of them.
Robin made Batman Forever look like a fucking classic.
Batman Forever was, I didn't think it was a bad film. I
don't
saw it
think
in
it's
the
bad
theater.
I think it was just too. They went. The fact that it came after Batman Returns and how serious Batman Returns was, I think that's what kind of lost its lure. It wasn't their fault because they were, McDonald's didn't want to fuck with them or whatever, so it's not their fault. But
I kind of feel like Schumacher had like people on top of him, like we got to make toys.
I mean, that's what it
We
was.
got a lot of
That's what
12-year-olds out
McDonald's
there
said.
need their toys.
'Cause
I know.
McDonald's was pissed
At Returns?
At Returns, They
Have
were
you seen
pissed.
Returns in recent times? Like,
Yes.
it's still a good movie, but I'm looking at it when I was older, like, and not too long ago, and I'm
There's so
watching
much
Batman
bad-
Returns, and I'm
there's-
just like, this is a very dark movie.
There's some things that are said in that film, and I'm like, wow.
This
I
was
heard
heavily
when I was a
marketed to
kid.
that movie was heavily marketed to children.
Dude, like
Which one is this one?
the one with the
I'm
penguins,
like, second
Michelle
one.
Pfeiffer and
Yeah.
Danny DeVito. Like the part where he bites that dude in the face and he's looking at the other chick all sexually and shit. He's like, I can teach her my French flipper trick, and I'm like, I was like 6,
Right?
7 years old when the movie
Oh, there
came
you
out.
go. You didn't know what he was saying.
Or when he walks up there and he sees Selena Kyle on the bed, he's like, just a pussy I was looking for. And I'm
Oh
like,
my! I had forgot about that. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, Catwoman opened up a lot of doors for me.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like,
Hey.
wow, that's amazing.
That whole sequence when she transforms, holy shit!
Let me tell you, Michelle Pfeiffer, no one will ever fill a cat suit. I don't care. I think Zoe Kravitz is a very attractive young woman and whatever, but no one will fill a cat suit like fucking Michelle Pfeiffer.
Halle Berry
did
tried. Yeah,
She tried.
Oh God!
But that was a terrible
Did you
movie.
see that?
that was a
She,
terrible.
she looked
movie.
good.
I'd never
She
watched
did
it.
look good, but Michelle Pfeiffer, there's something about that. Even I think in Forever, they kind of throw a jab at it. What's Nicole Kidman's character in Batman Forever?
Dr. Chase Meridian.
She says it to Batman. She's like, or should I wear skin tight vinyl and get a whip or whatever? And I'm like, because they're referencing Batman Returns, and I'm like, that's how dynamic that was.
Yeah.
The skin tight vinyl and a whip. I've been trying to get my girlfriend to wear that it's not working.
Not gonna
And- and
happen.
it-
Halloween, man. It's
It
around the
ain't
corner.
gonna
The-
happen.
Tis the season.
Between that and having her dressed like a pink Power Ranger, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. It ain't
Wow.
Amy
happening,
Jo
man.
Johnson. Goddamn.
Amy Jo
See?
Johnson. She still looks great right now to this day.
I met her.
Really?
once. I took a picture with her and said hi to her, and she took my money.
I'm sad to this day that I never got to meet. Speaking of Power Rangers, I'm sad that I never got to meet
JDF?
JDF. I have a quick story about that.
Go ahead.
I was at the very first Comic-Con. No, was it Comic-Con? Yeah, it was Comic-Con back in 2015, I think.
It's either Comic Con or C2E2.
C2E2. It was I was on the fence about meeting JDF because he was there, and like I'd already bought a bunch of stuff, and like he was charging X amount of money, and was like, I don't know, do I want to drop that much? And I already got like a Green Ranger like poster that I bought like from some stand. And I'm like, should I get it autographed by him? And I'm like, last minute, I'm like, okay, fine, I'm gonna go stand in line. So he went on break, and I was the first person standing in line, and then people started like forming behind me, and then like waiting. And then, like, after a little while, like, I don't know if it was his assistant or somebody came out and be like, unfortunately, Jason has gone home for the day. He's not signing any more autographs. And I was like, damn,
Did you get a return for that? Yeah, money back for that, I'm assuming, right?
No, I didn't pay anything,
you
like,
didn't pay
unless I got the autograph.
Oh, okay.
But I was in line waiting to
you're
get
right,
his
you're
autograph.
right.
I still have that poster, like, hanging on my wall to this day. That was this close of getting autographed.
I don't know. We did the math when we went. They were raking it in. I stayed till like 2:00 in the morning collecting.
You know what pissed me off about Amy Jo? You know how they say
Do you want to take your phone number?
no.
Aside from that,
Sorry, man.
Aside from that, she was late as fuck. Like it. So it was. I think it was supposed to start like at 9. This chick didn't show up to damn near almost noon.
you know how it is with
Oh.
these
Like,
bougie
Dude,
superstars.
everybody else was already there. The lines were moving, and me and him are just waiting in line for Amy Jo. And the line, she's not even in the
Long
booth yet.
time.
She's not even in the booth yet. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? But JDF, I was going to go. So he was before his death. He came to Chicago maybe like a month or two before his death, I think it was, and he was doing autographs. And I got some of the toys, like I got the action figures, and I got the Green Ranger dagger and the helmet, and blah blah blah. And I was like, you know what? He's not far from where I was going to be at. And it was going to be one of those free events ish, where like you pay for the what was it? I don't remember. I think it was free, whatever. And I was gonna go, but then I had a basketball game that same day, so I couldn't go. And then he passed away, and I'm like, man, damn. I kind kind of felt bad. I actually felt really bad when he passed away.
Me too, man.
Because like I grew up with that.
I was in my tidy whities dancing in front of my TV, dude, just going, let's do this. Remember one time I was doing that and I turned my head and I look at the window and my neighbor, who's this little girl, looking through the window. I'm like 7 years old, like I did a backflip over the couch. Like, you won't catch me doing that again.
I was gonna ask you, was this recent or?
No, that was a long time
This
ago.
was yesterday.
Yeah. I was watching that Halloween episode of Power Rangers.
Oh my God. Power Rangers was such a big thing when I was a kid. Like that was the show. Like that literally was, I would run home to watch episodes of this. Like when the Green Ranger saga, oh my God.
Dude,
That was
don't even
amazing.
get me started, man. I was all about that.
Holy
I would
crap.
call every day after school, every toy store in my area. Like I even memorized some of the numbers after a while. I would call. I was like 6th, 7th grade at this time, and I would literally like come home and be like, call Toys R Us. I would call Sears. I would call Kmart. I'd call everywhere and be like, do you have any Power Rangers? Do you have any Power Rangers? Do you have any Power Rangers? No, they would always be sold out.
How old are you? You don't mind me asking?
Yeah,
I'd rather not say.
No, you don't have
What are you?
to.
You're in 30s?
Sure.
30s? Okay.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, he's in his 40s. He's in his 40s.
don't-
Yeah, what's wrong, man?
He's
Come
in his
on.
40s.
Spit it out.
Like he wasn't too much of a Power Ranger fan,
No.
right? He kind of bashes me because I love.
Seriously? What were you into?
No, I was into it for a little bit, but I don't know. I got over it quick, I guess.
So like,
No, the Saturday morning shows I always watched was Power Rangers, X-Men,
X-Men,
Batman,
yeah.
and the animated
That-
series.
so here's my defense as a Power Ranger fan. When anyone criticizes watching Power Rangers, I look at it like this. If you look at the 90s and what defined the 90s at the time, they have shows about this, right? What toys defined these eras, okay?
Power
So,
Rangers?
listen,
Toys.
it was Transformers, Ninja Turtles, followed by Power Rangers. Power Rangers were the hardest fucking toy to buy anywhere at one point.
And
Okay?
before that, it was Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja
I
Turtles.
was about that life.
I think the best thing for
I
the
like the
Power
shows.
Rangers is they gave me the noise when you go down on a girl.
Wait, what?
What
What
episode
do you
was
do?
this?
What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
The fucking putty noise.
Oh my god!
Holy shit! I didn't think about that. Oh wow.
We talk about
Okay.
it all the time.
Oh yeah, we
Come
do
on,
joke
yeah.
about that.
Lord,
Wait, I was all into Power Rangers. Like I remember like there was that Macaulay Culkin movie, The Page Master, and like if you bought the movie, you got a featurette and early trailer screening of the
movie?
Power Rangers movie in the beginning of the movie. So I bought that film just
Just to
so I
get
could
that.
see
No,
the Power. I didn't even
fuck.
watch the film. I just wanted to see the Power Ranger stuff.
Jesus.
That's how into it I was. But speaking of Ninja Turtles was the very first movie I saw in the movie theater.
same.
1990?
Yeah,
90,
that was
right?
in
Was it 90 or 80?
89, maybe.
90.
I'm
Was it
thinking
90?
90. I'm
I
thinking
want to
90.
say 90s.
It was 90.
I'm thinking 90.
That was I was international experience. I was in Central America when I saw
Who
that.
had the VHS copy?
Of course I
I
had.
did. I got mine at Pizza Hut.
How many remember? I was about to say, how many remember the Pizza Hut baseball commercial in the beginning?
No.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Man, boy.
I had all of them. The very first toy I ever had was a Michelangelo Ninja Turtle.
I had Casey Jones.
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones.
See, nobody knew how to respond. She just said Casey Jones.
Does nobody know who Casey Jones is? Of
No, I was
yeah.
just saying, it just
Well, then
sounded
what the
weird
hell?
when you said it. You had like no punchline to that. You just said
There was
Casey
no
Jones.
punchline.
Never mind.
Elias Koteas.
I mean,
he was awesome as Casey
Yeah, he
Jones.
was. Man, I snoozed really bad. So like, I got into acting. So I was on Chicago PD the season after Elias left,
Oh, wow.
and I regret not getting in 1 year earlier because I'm like, if I would have booked a gig on Chicago PD and he would have been there, because I've heard he's a pretty cool dude. Like my sister's a big fan, so she kind of whenever they're filming nearby, she'll go and they talk to them and whatever. I would have started saying the shit he was arguing with Donatello to see if he remembered any of it. I'd be like, "Hey, gack face," or whatever to see if he comes back
Okay.
with the comeback or whatever. I think he says hose brain or some shit.
Yeah, yeah. No.
Just to see, because I'm like, man, like I remember him in a film. Like that's what's crazy about like acting. You get to work with these people that you never thought, right? Like I had the privilege of working with J.K. Simmons.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
I
That's
was-
really awesome. Yeah.
I was like, shit. I called him So I get to base camp, and the first person I called was this dude, and I'm just like, dude, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to be next to this man, kind of shit, you know, because like he's someone I saw watching Spider-Man, right? Like I remember him obviously most from when I was watching him in Spider-Man, but like when I found out he was in it, I was shitting bricks.
God, you know what's terrible is my first experience with J.K. Simmons is Oz. You ever seen that? It's a prison show.
I've never seen it, but I know
it's
what it's about.
Pretty crazy show.
Yeah.
I won't get into it.
I've never seen Oz.
No, man, it's really good actually.
He's a great actor.
Amazing actor.
You know what's interesting about? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say like if you want to see a good J.K. Simmons performance and not actually see him on screen,
not Drumline. What's the one that he plays? He's like the conductor.
Whiplash.
Whiplash is a good movie.
Check out Glorious.
Ooh, that's a
What
good
is
horror
that?
film.
Glorious.
That is a horror film that came out last year, I think. And he just plays a voice.
Is he the lead?
He is one of the leads.
Yeah.
It's a very like low budget like indie horror film, and I love the hell out of it. I saw it twice, and the not really giving anything away, but like the location where the bulk of the movie takes place is a men's bathroom stall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Really interesting.
And
I
J.K.
love
Simmons is
films
one of
like that where it's just contained, you know, and it's a really good story, and it's definitely one of those great stories.
Did you guys know that Whiplash was originally a low budget indie film? Like the
Was it?
original copy of it is
Huh.
a low budget.
I've never seen it actually.
It's actually a really good movie, but it was refilmed. So the original filmed with J.K. Simmons, somehow they afforded him, is a low budget like indie film. And then it got picked up by a big studio to reshoot, and then they reshot the entire thing.
Oh wow, okay.
But it's a really good movie. A very good performance by J.K. Simmons. But he was intimidating. Now he wasn't intimidating once you
Isn't
talk
he
to him.
like buffed and ripped as
Well,
fuck?
he
like,
wasn't. It was before. I think it was before he did the Santa. He played like a Santa Claus or something with The Rock or whatever, right?
Well, he was ripped for the Commissioner Gordon role. Remember, there was that viral photo, like him in the
Just
gym,
like,
where like his arms were like huge
But
and
I think,
jacked.
I think that was when he was working out with Dwayne because he was doing that holiday film where he needed to be pretty big.
If he was working with Dwayne, we know what else he was doing.
Steroids.
Oh.
No, he's not a big Dwayne The Rock Johnson fan.
No.
he's no Arnold.
No, I don't know.
No, Rock is
He never
terrible in my
will be.
opinion.
He is terrible,
Yeah,
but
he
at
is.
least I can understand him.
Yeah, but to some degree, like, you
Knock
know,
it
pretty
off.
much what Arnold was back then is
What
more
The
or
Rock
less
is
what
now.
The Rock is today. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, but you know the difference between
Except
Arnold
popular.
and The Rock is
The Rock
that-
is probably just as popular.
No.
What do you mean, no? He has
I mean,
millions and millions of Rock
maybe
fans.
as a wrestler. but
popularity
as an
wise, sure. I mean, like film wise, I would take an Arnold movie any day of the
actor,
week
he's
over
not
a
as
Rock film.
beloved.
I think what made Arnold is that Arnold's limitations made him lovable. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, and he knew how to pick good roles. He doesn't just jump into everything.
That's
It
true.
seems like The Rock. Like there was a point where like he was like in 3 movies a year, 3-4 movies a year, and I'm like, I don't
But he
care.
signed a bad contract with Disney though.
Did he?
Yeah, because he was like he had to do everything Disney wanted him to do at one point.
Yeah,
But he was still up and coming in Hollywood at the time.
Mhm.
You know, like all like what was the one where he was like a football, like his daughter, and he played football. The Game
Oh,
Plan,
the game plan.
Yeah,
then
so
he was
the
the one
game
who
plan.
he was the Tooth Fairy at one.
Tooth
in one-
Fairy,
Like what the
Gridiron
like? What was that? I
Gangs.
remember seeing that in the commercial.
Where
like,
were
what-
his
is this-
muscles back then? Non-existent. Boy, I wonder
he
what
was
he
getting
did.
help, man. Okay, first of all, I don't understand why you're so upset about this when there are no testing regulations in acting.
in Hollywood.
Because he
no.
lies. Because he lies.
He doesn't lie. He just doesn't say
does
the truth.
lie.
He just doesn't tell the
well,
truth.
is
That's
that
all.
One and the same, right?
Okay, we're not gonna get into this argument. I'm
But
not
you-
gonna get into this argument.
But you could pick almost any Arnold movie from the 80s, and I would watch that any night of the
Oh,
week
yeah,
and still have a good time
Twins.
with it.
Okay,
Red Heat is a major,
Red
like,
Heat,
underrated
yeah.
film.
I will say though, The Rock has better, maybe not bangers. Let me not say that. So like, I think he fits
Better not
better
say that.
in situations than Arnold would have. So if you replace Arnold in, let's say, Fast Five, right? I don't know if you guys saw Fast Five.
I haven't seen any of them.
Okay, so that's the first one The Rock was in. It was probably one of the better Fast and the Furious movies.
Sure.
You can't put Arnold in that film and have it hit as hard. It ain't gonna work. Right now, I guess you can make the argument, can you flip them the other way? Can you do Terminator and put The Rock in it?
No.
I don't know. I mean, The Rock actually
no.
speaks English. I don't know. I don't know if he can
It'll
pull
take
it
away
off.
from it. 100%.
Because remember, you were saying a long time ago, we did a whole thing about Stallone and Arnold. Who was the better actor? You claim Arnold.
It's Arnold.
I claim Stallone.
I say Stallone.
I say Stallone's the better actor.
Acting-wise.
Acting-wise, Stallone's the better actor.
Yeah, he has a little more range, but he's just not as exciting to watch.
Well, he's also not as steroided out. So
What was that one movie where
Oh,
like they replaced him in
he was
Terminator? It was the one where he's with the little kid.
Oh, Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero. That scene where like they switched him out with Sylvester Stallone for the Terminator 2 cardboard cutout in the movie theater, or not movie theater, but the Blockbuster. And
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I think
Yeah.
I've seen the clip, but I don't think
I was like, man, that'd be like when I was a little kid. I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to see that. How would that work? You know? Shit.
No, but I love how like Arnold and Stallone would like riff on each other, like and reference each other. Remember in Twins when Arnold walks up to a Rambo poster and he's looking at it and he like feels his bicep and he goes, like, that was hilarious when I was a kid. Like
I don't think those two. I think he was trying to make the point that you can swap those two in and out too. And I'm like, I don't know if you can, man, because I mean,
think I did.
you can't put Arnold in Rocky.
No,
And-
no.
and that's not gonna work.
No, I don't think
at
so.
all.
No.
At all.
Could have put him in his Drago.
They've done that in
Arnold as Drago?
deep faking.
Arnold is Drago. You know what?
It's possible.
Yeah,
I can see that. I could see that.
It's already got the accent.
Gentlemen, ready for round two?
Sure.
Sure.
Here
Some
we
more
have
mana.
a, Italian wine right here for promotional consideration.
Sponsor us. Send us money.
We need money to make stuff.
Yes, that's how that
Is
works.
that how that works? You just show the product and then you
No,
demand
it's
money?
Not, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works?
no,
Damn,
that's
that's
not how
not-
it works. They have to want to show their product on your product.
Yeah.
I guess
if that's the case,
we're
Shure-
out of luck then.
If that's the case, Shure owes us money because we have 3 Shure mics here. But no, that's not how that works. So favorite movie that you can? I know it's hard. I know it's very hard, but there has to be one that you can watch.
Well, let's stick to a genre if that's the case, because then they'll make it a little easier. What's Marlon? Let's stick with a little bit of horror since it is the season after all.
And then we'll jump into the Marvel thing.
I mean, by the time this comes out,
That's a
it'll
great
be
shirt, by the way.
around.
He's got a great shirt.
I like his sweat. Nine
That is
Inch
an amazing
Nails.
shirt.
I love how Batman's freaking out in the background.
That is. I didn't even see the Batman. Oh, I love it. That's a great shirt. You don't even know where that's from, John.
No, I'm talking about the sweater.
Oh.
Nine Inch Nails.
Do you see his shirt?
The patch.
Yeah. Fucking
Do you see
badass.
his shirt though?
Yeah.
That's dope.
It's pretty.
You don't even know where that's from, but that's okay.
It's from that thing where Superman
Punches
apparently
Joker.
Gets
kills,
tired of the Joker shit
Yeah.
and he'd be like, you know what? Fuck this.
which is
That
something
is from
Batman
the
should have done a long time
That
ago.
is
Which
from
is
the
why I don't
shit.
even fucking
That is from
watch
the
it.
Injustice storyline
He killed Lois Lane and
where he tricks he poisons
She was
Superman.
pregnant.
Yeah, he poisons Superman and he thinks that Lois Lane is Doomsday for some reason and pushes her into space.
oh my god.
And
yeah, and then
kills her.
Superman's like, you know what? Fuck this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
And
live
he
this
just
guy.
freaking, what was the punch that Ken used to do in Street Fighter? The uppercut, the Sornuken?
Yeah,
Shornuken?
he
Basically does that to him.
one punch manned them.
Yeah. He does
Yeah.
the Kano fatality to him,
Yeah.
basically. Just- favorite movie
Man,
that you can think of?
Horror wise,
If I'm gonna do horror,
Let's
if
do
I'm
horror.
gonna say
Fine,
like
let's do
one
horror.
of the
Let's
best,
stick to horror. Since we're Friday, what is it? What's today's date?
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Let's stick with horror.
I wanted to do comedy.
We'll do that on
Best
Easter.
horror film in my opinion is Requiem for a Dream. And now
What
you're
was that
thinking
again? Say it again.
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a
Now you
Dream.
think to yourself like, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
It's you wouldn't think
It's
horror.
messed. You wouldn't think horror, but that movie, the drugs are the monster in that movie.
Yeah,
And like, get to little happy beginnings. Everyone's doing good and they're all happy. And you just slowly see them just falling deeper and deeper into this darkness, falling into this darkness that is drugs. And it's just like, it's so real. And it just hits you so different. I remember the first time I saw it, I stepped outside, had to have a cigarette. I was just like, man, contemplating my life. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I wasn't even doing that shit. I wasn't doing heroin or anything. But I'm just like, God damn it, what am I doing? And that's a good movie where I have to go outside and be like, fuck. That's a good movie to me, where I'm sitting there just going, wow. Like I highly recommend it, but it's only like, it's a 1 or 2 time watch for certain people.
Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
sir.
Favorite horror movie?
Let's stick with horror since we're on it's the occasion, right? Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Friday the 13th.
Please don't say Friday the 13th.
No. I never really got scared of any of those movies. I found it more entertaining, weirdly as that sounds. Favorite horror movie.
God, even that's hard.
It is difficult. I would say it'd be a tie between 3 films. It would be The Thing from John Carpenter, 1982.
Classic.
A classic.
Love
Okay.
it.
Poltergeist.
Okay.
The first Poltergeist. The original Poltergeist, not the remake.
Okay.
Like,
So
you
the
know.
older one. Okay.
And The People Under the Stairs.
Don't even know what that is.
Jeez. Wow.
The People Under the Stairs?
Yes,
That
People
sounds-
Under the Stairs.
That sounds creepy.
It is a
just from the
super,
title. That kinda just
super
creeps me out already.
underrated film, directed by Wes Craven from Nightmare on Elm Street, 1991. I actually rewatched it
So
recently.
it's not even that old.
No,
91. That's
I
not
actually
even that old.
rewatched it recently, and actually a quick story about People Under the Stairs is that like there's this this woman who's one of the antagonists of the film, one of the villains, and I actually went to a screening of an indie movie last year in Evanston. And the movie was fine and everything, and like I mostly went there to meet like the director because I've been corresponding with him on Messenger.
Stalking. Got it.
Yeah, stalking.
Yeah.
Sure. So I met him, and then like I met the actress who was in the film who played one of the main characters, and I shook her hand when I said, "Thank you for the movie, whatever. You did great in the film." And then I went home and like I wanted to see like who was the crew that worked on the film just out of curiosity. So I went on my IMDb. I'm looking at the film. And then I see like the cast like on the list, and I see who played like who, and that woman that I met like in passing was her profile picture on there is the profile picture of the main villain in People Under the Stairs.
Oh, shit.
She was the villain female in the People Under the Stairs, and I didn't even know it. And I actually met her. I was like, holy shit! Had I known that, I would have asked her like, oh. You're in one of my favorite horror movies. You worked with Wes Craven. You scared the shit out of me as a kid. Like, so yeah, People Under the Stairs, The Thing,
Poltergeist.
and Poltergeist.
Jonathan.
I don't know. I never really got into horror movies.
So
What's your
nothing
favorite
ever just
scary
fucked with
movie?
your mind. Kept you up at night.
The funniest one was one that I didn't even watch. What was that one that Aaron went to go see in the theaters?
Oh, Paranormal Activity.
Okay, so I did not watch this movie. He went to watch it. He thought it was going to be about aliens. And we grew up like religious, so like Pentecostal or whatever.
Sure.
So the demon stuff really like gets to me. It got to him. He comes home, and in the middle of the night, he comes into my room. It's just we were
Roommates.
yeah, roommates. He comes into my room and he's like, "Bro, I can't sleep. Can I sleep here with you?" And he had to come into my bed. And we were like huddled up.
I was choked.
We're cousins. We're cousins, by the way. So we're huddled together.
Wait, when was this?
They were
This was-
25.
I was alive right before I got married. So
It only gets worse.
he freaked
only
out
gets
so
worse.
much that I freaked
Oh,
out.
no.
And I was
Oh, no.
starting to get a fucking panic attack. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?" He goes, "I just watched this movie. I thought it was about aliens, and it was about demons, and I can't do it." And yeah, that freaked me out more than any movie I've actually watched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, horror movies. I wasn't a fan. I grew up like him, so I grew up Pentecostal, and like we weren't supposed to play with shit that had to do with
Yeah.
religion, right? Like Ouija boards, shit like that. We weren't supposed to fuck with none of that
Fun
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
song.
so those things, like even to this day, I don't believe I'm an atheist, but I don't believe in that stuff anymore. But even to this day, like if I watch like the Exorcist trailer, like I get little chills because you know it messes with stuff that I grew up with. Whatever. Movies that bugged me. The Grudge bugged me for some fucking reason.
I saw that in the theater.
For some fucking reason, that girl crawling around with her neck cracking all crazy and shit, that bugged the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Don't know
It
why.
was a good film.
I wouldn't be able to tell you if it was good or not. I was fucking sweating bullets. Nightmare on Elm Street bugged me when I was a kid, but I was a little
first
kid.
one,
I was a
man.
little
Ooh.
kid, so I mean, that bugged me. And I want to say Saw 1 was an interesting, different type of horror flick because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that at the
Yeah.
time. That mental kind of fuck with your brain kind of shit film. Well, there was, but like it was different. I don't know. Do you guys agree?
It was refreshing when it first came out because it was like you just had your by the numbers type of horror for a long time because you had your huge stint of really good horror in the,
Was it like
in the
right after
80s and early
slasher flicks?
90s. Yeah.
Was that like right after like slasher
Yeah,
flicks?
because like after all the slasher stuff, they start going like super psychological and
Yeah.
trying to like get more into your head, and it was really nice to see kind of just getting back to like, it was psychological, but it was also like they're bringing back some of that horror, especially the second Saw. I love the second Saw.
Okay, as blasphemous as it may be to say, like some people like hold the first Saw in such high regard. I think that I prefer the second Saw over the first one. I love the whole almost like Funhouse type of vibe where like they have to go through multiple like.
You're talking about the main game that was in the film.
Okay,
Right, I got you.
The first one was fine, but it just felt a little limited. Obviously, because of the budget.
It was budget, right?
Because of the
I think it
budget.
was budget.
The second film, I just felt like they elevated like what was the concept of the
How
first
far
one.
did you get along? How far did you go with the Saw film before you?
4, and
Four,
then
that
I was
was it?
done.
You
When
were
Donnie
done?
Wahlberg was dead, that was done.
You didn't even watch any of them.
I guess I got to the second one. I don't remember any of them.
But the biggest scene in the second one was when that girl fell into that big pit of syringes.
Oh,
I was just like,
That
oh my
didn't bother me. I
God.
don't understand why there's so many people that bother.
I don't know
That
why it
didn't
just
bother
hit me. I'm just like, oh my God, this is terrible.
You know what bothered me in that movie, and it's the dumbest shit, was the Puerto Rican guy, the big muscular guy, when he pulls that spiked piece of lumber out of the guy's head.
Oh my God, yeah.
That
yeah,
bugged me more than anything else in the film. And the fact that the first guy who dies in the fly trap thing, his name is Michael, and people call me Michael, so it kind of that bugged me. But the rest of that was kind of whatever.
Well, okay, so we talked about like horror films and genres, and that favorite like alien horror film.
Alien horror species.
Species.
Do you remember that?
That's a great porno. That's a great porno, man. Love that.
Dude, when you see the aliens fucking making out and shit, oh my God, that movie
The
was
second
hot,
one was
bro.
crazy. I was like,
that
what is
girl-
going on?
Man, bro, that
Natasha Henstridge, man.
movie- I don't know.
remember.
I don't know her
Oh,
name because
yeah.
she scared the shit
Yeah.
out of me. But she was fucking.
Natasha.
I don't know if I wanted to fuck her or run from her. I don't know. It was one of the two.
If
'cause she
you
was
got out just in time, it might have
Holy
been worth
shit.
it.
Is that the one? Mind you, I was a kid when this movie came out, right?
so
I
was I,
remember it
yeah.
scaring the shit out of me. That's the one where like she makes out with him and then like a spike comes out the back of his fucking head kind of shit?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm thinking about her. Yeah, she's hot. She's hot.
Yeah,
She's
she
kind of reminds me of like the Mystique girl. What's the name of
Yeah.
the first
Rebecca
Mystique?
Romaine.
Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah.
Hot like that.
Former
But, like,
Stamos.
Fucking kill you kind of shit. That movie was scary, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you,
Favorite
bro.
alien horror film.
Gosh.
It'll be easy just to say alien. you
I
know?
got mine.
It'd be easy to just
But
say
is that really
Predator.
a horror film or is that more of an action film? See,
First,
Predator,
the first Alien is a horror film.
That's a
because
horror.
Predator is not a horror film. That's an action film.
Is it?
Yes.
I mean,
It has elements of horror
See,
in it.
I was watching the anybody watch the
time out.
Critical Drunk
Dead
Drunk Guy?
Space would be a
Critical
great
Drinker?
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah,
He just had
horror.
one about that movie. Say it again. I'm sorry.
I said Dead Space would be a great horror sci-fi fucking
Definitely with the Cronenberg creatures
Yeah.
and all that.
But here's the problem. We kind of started talking about what's the problem with video games and films. I don't think you have enough time in a film to tell a 10-hour long video game in a good way, in
I
a
don't think it
faithful
was
way.
that complex to where you need like
Neither's fucking
a
Halo,
lot
but
of
fucking Halo
backstory.
series sucked.
No,
Oh my
that was a little-
I didn't even see it. I don't.
It was terrible. Neither is Resident Evil, but they all kind of
those all
too.
sucked, man. I couldn't do any of them.
So let's be real. I mean, how many? Let's go back. They want to do a Gears of War a movie. I'm like, why?
They're doing Borderlands. You don't even know.
That's like, but that's like, isn't that like that movie with Tom Holland?
Borderlands is what? It's more like it's almost like a pirate game because you're out scavenging, trying to like open the vault to get this ultimate treasure that'll make you rich
So
beyond.
It's gonna be Kevin Hart,
Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, is in there.
Jamie Lee, Jack Black is gonna be Claptrap. That's gonna be fun.
Okay.
I don't play games, so
I just feel like video games are hard to do.
Used to are the reason Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore. I'm just saying.
Hey, I have toys. I
have
collected
I
stuff.
have toys too. You criticize me for having them.
The toy that I always wanted to prize and find and I never could was the Dragon Sword. I always wanted the Dragon Sword and the Dragon Dagger.
I have a Dragon Dagger.
The original one or the replica?
I have the legacy one. So the Bandai one.
So the replica.
It's the bigger one. Because the Lightning one was smaller. It was a piece of crap. The original one was really small too. It was like the one that everybody tries to get, except there's a 25 karat gold one that's really fucking expensive.
Right.
I've seen that one. Yeah.
The one thing I couldn't find, and I refuse to pay the amounts of money that people want for it, are Megazords.
I
Because they want a lot of.
I used to have the Thunderzords and the Megazords. Like used to be able to put them together and everything.
Holy crap!
Whatever. So
Oh my god! You know how much that would probably be worth right now?
I don't even want to think about it.
I think back about all the stuff I had, and I'm going like, man, I wasn't moving like every year growing up. I could have held on to all that stuff. But I'll go to Comic-Con and I see like the old Ghostbusters house going for like $500.
But we didn't know. There was no way we would have known. That's the bad part.
Yeah.
Like we look at it now in hindsight, right? We're like, okay, I'm gonna buy these toys and I'm not gonna open them. We're just gonna stay right there. You never know, right? But in hindsight, at the time, we were running home just to open the fucking thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
The
Like,
most valuable thing I probably have is like an autographed picture of Kevin Conroy. I did get to meet him at a convention in Florida.
that's pretty cool.
He did autograph a Batman.
Greatest voice of
picture.
Batman ever.
Yeah, that's true. And my little exchange that I had with him was mostly. I was nervous as hell. I was at this convention.
Crazy, right?
I met Jason, the Red Ranger, at that convention, and I met Bulk and Skull at that convention.
Bulk and Skull.
I did meet them.
That's what they call us, Bulk.
But I did meet Kevin Conroy, and like it wasn't really that busy of a convention. So like he's came out from his table and he was talking right next to me. I was like, holy shit, like this is Kevin Conroy. And like the only thing I could think to ask him was, are you familiar with Killing Joke?
Yes, of course.
Okay, well I asked him because he did the animated film had just come out recently, and it's the ending of that is very much the same as the ending in the comic book. And I asked him like, so it's the same ending in both ones. So like, I wanted to ask you personally, like, do you think that Batman does it? Do you think he kills the Joker at the end? And he's just like, no, I don't want to answer that. I was like, why not? He's like, no, because I don't want people to think that, like, because of what I say, that's what it is. I want people to come up with their own, and like, conclusions.
That's a fair answer.
I was like, so you think he did it, huh?
You know what's a very underrated Batman film? Mask of the Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Yep.
And the Sub-Zero one.
They're both really good.
I actually saw that one not super long ago, maybe like a year ago, because I never saw it. So it's the same cast from the animated show, but with Mr. Freeze and all that. And I saw it and I was like, this wasn't bad. Isn't that insane that the cartoon movies are better than the majority of the live action DC films?
Yes.
Isn't that
Actually,
isn't
he and
that
I have
sad?
talked about this. Like, why is it that, these one-off episodes, 30 minutes, tell a way better story than you can get out of an hour and a half, 2-hour movie? Like The Flash oh my God, that was the worst thing I've seen this year.
Oh my God, that was bad. Yeah.
I had great hopes for that movie, too.
Why?
I don't know, because it looked good.
No, it didn't.
Because Michael Keaton was in it? I mean,
That's what got you.
You were hyped about it, too.
I was hyped because of Michael Keaton. That's literally it. The only
that's
reason
it.
I went to watch it was because Michael Keaton was in it.
I took my brother to go
Period.
see it in the theater for Father's Day. And I'm sitting in the theater watching this film. I was like, my God. Like, they sat on this film for almost a year and they couldn't go back and fix any of this.
This was one of those, like we said earlier. I'm like, did anybody watch this before it came out? Like, you guys are getting paid millions. Did anybody literally
Hundreds of
watch
millions.
This? Did anybody watch this?
The CGI, oh my God. Like the whole scene with them like getting the baby and putting it in
Oh
the
my
microwave.
God, bro, that looked like PlayStation 2 graphics.
And the Speed Force. I'm just like, I've seen better
Hey,
version of this on CW.
Spoiler alert. I haven't watched it.
Oh,
Hair, no one's
spoiler.
gonna like. Why does the Speed Force, like, when he's in there, change time look like the Roman Colosseum or
Oh,
something?
I was like,
like,
weird.
What's happening here? I don't understand.
There was so much bad with that movie. Like, first of all, I don't know about you guys, but the fact of Batman being out in the daylight bugs the
It doesn't
shit out of
work.
me.
It doesn't work.
fucking work. Like, I'm sorry. He hides in the shadows.
He's a detective.
There's no shadows in the daylight. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they'll call him the Day Night.
Yeah, I'm serious. They don't call it the
Batman in a big bombastic live action, like, CGI, like daytime
Oh my God.
sequence doesn't work.
It was terrible. But then you have cartoon movies, which are really great. So you have Mask of the Phantasm, which was a really good film, even though it didn't have anything to do with the animated series, but whatever. You have movies like Under the Red Hood, I have my issues with the voice acting, but the story of the film was great.
Right.
The concept of it was great. You have, what's the one? Bad Blood? Is it Bad Blood? The one that Batman's like, Bruce Wayne is like hypnotized and like Dick Grayson's kind of acting as Batman at the end or whatever. He's kind of dressed like him.
I don't think I've seen that one.
There's that one out with Batwoman. That one's not that bad. There's so many good ones, but yet you can't make a good film. I mean, look, it's easy though. The funny thing is you have the material. Grab any episode of the 90s animated show and make that into a movie. Grab the Clayface one. That was one of the greatest fucking episodes of all time. when he's like going crazy at the end, he fucking hits all the TVs with his face on it. Do that episode exactly how it is in the show. Fucking one of the greatest Batman movies of all time.
Some of the really heavy stuff like happens in that series.
Until they went when they started matching the Superman look.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of tuned out, but like the original run, holy shit.
But DC is just like a mess in general right now. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean,
I kind of have hopes that James Gunn has the chops to do something. I don't like the fact that he wants to keep some of the old stuff like Wonder Woman, and I like the first Wonder Woman movie just fine.
Yeah, I do.
I'm not a big fan of Gal
okay.
Gadot. We could do better. I think we can find somebody that could. You know,
I think Gal Gadot. I think Gal Gadot. She's a pretty woman. Let me put that out there real quick. But here's the
beautiful.
thing. Here's the thing. So even in Fast 5, right? Because she was in the Fast and the Furious movies too. So there's a scene where she's trying to seduce a mob boss to like they need fingerprints, right? So then she sits on his lap and whatever, touches her panties, so like she fingerprints, whatever. But in the time she walks to him, they make her seem like she's sexy, right? So she takes off her towel and she's walking in her little. I'm like, girl, you skinny as hell. Like I don't understand.
That's
like she's a beautiful she's a beautiful woman, but like Jennifer Lopez, I guess, yes, voluptuous woman, fine. She's very skinny, you know. She's a very skinny, petite woman, and it's
when you think Wonder Woman, you think someone like almost like an MMA fighter, like someone who's buffed.
Yeah, like not necessarily. I wouldn't say buffed to an extent,
not buff but toned.
Someone who has features. You know what I'm saying? Like
China.
No, that's too much.
That's too much. That's relax. Calm down. Calm down there.
Ronda Rousey.
Like
something like that.
Maybe a little bit more. Like I would say, like Gina Carano when she was young.
Oh,
in her prime.
In her prime, I would say Gina Carano when she was in her prime.
Yeah, she would have been great.
Like in the Injustice 2 video game, that's a perfect Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
She was perfect. That's how I envision Wonder Woman. She's very thin. It's like, yeah, she's a pretty woman. She's a beautiful woman, but she's not imposing. Like who are you threatening? Like a strong wind will move you. Like, let's be real. You know? Marvel, where do you think Marvel's at right now? How do you feel about Marvel?
No comment.
That good, that bad, huh?
You know, there's a lot of good stories in Marvel where they could do stuff, but I feel like they took a big left turn, hoping that it's going to hit the same way that the previous stuff did, and it's just not clicking.
Would you have liked a time of nothing for a little while? So like, let's say if they would have ended at Endgame and did like 5 years without doing anything, would you have liked
perfectly
that?
fine with that.
I would have too.
I don't think you know how a business works.
No, I understand that. That's not what I'm asking.
Making money.
I mean, yeah.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, would it have bothered you as a fan? Not you so much. You're not a big fan. Would it have bothered you, as you guys are fans of Marvel and DC comic books?
Sure.
Would it have bothered you to have a period of nothing for a little while, like after Endgame?
Yeah, I feel the same way about Star Wars as well. Like they need to take a break. I mean, they can't just keep pumping stuff out and expect like
home runs every time.
Yeah, I expect like big things to happen every single time. I mean, part of what made the like that's just Marvel, but like the Star Wars films big was that like there was that little break to build up that anticipation
for the next three.
And now it's just like,
how fast can we do this? How fast can we do this?
There's something coming up like every year, and I'm just like, you lose interest in like being bombarded with so many things. So it's just like, okay, it's kind of burnout.
Everything needs to be a big universe now. It can't just be a one-off film. It has to be a big. Oh, this is connected to this, and this is connected to that. And I'm like, I don't got time. I got stuff I'm working on. You know,
it became too big.
Yeah,
for its own good.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think when they first started, and yes, these movies were kind of tied into each other. You know, like Iron Man, Hulk, those movies were out, and they kind of had little ties to each other, little hints that they were tied to each other. Beautiful, but we're on Earth, and everything's kind of smaller. Now it's so fucking big, and now the timeline thing. I mean, every movie that has to do with timelines gets kind of lost in its own fucking shit. I mean, if you think about Back to the Future, how many flaws can we find in Back to the Future? How many flaws can we find in Terminator films? Anything that has to do with time travel or timelines and
what
adjusting
the hell
the
is a flux capacitor.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, that's kind of why I feel like, yes, they have great stories to tell, right? I think Marvel's biggest problem now is that they have too much content. If that's believable or not. Like, it's crazy. Like, they have so much stuff versus before they were so successful with a minimal amount of stuff.
I think that, yes, that they have too much content now, but I think that like part of the problem is also that like they need to focus on the quality of the content
Agreed.
that they're putting out. I think in some cases that they may be like, you know, hiring people to write for their shows that may not be necessarily qualified to write for their shows.
Right.
We're not even necessarily even fans of the properties that they've been hired to write, you know, for.
This is when the concept goes for like restaurants. What do you prefer, quality or quantity?
Exactly.
Oh, you know me.
You're more quantity. You're quantity.
The problem now, though, is that quality and quantity cost the same. You know?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know what fixes them. I think their biggest ace in the hole right now is that they acquired X-Men. So I think once the X-Men get involved, you're going to start a new surge of people going to go watch.
The only superhero film that I'm like anticipating and looking forward to is the next Deadpool movie.
Me too.
Because of Hugh Jackman and Wolverine.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. So I think
That's only I didn't care. I don't care about anything else that's coming
their
out.
ace in the hole is the fact that they acquired these properties that we as younger, our age group, we hold dear. Like we hold dear the 90s animated series. Every animated series that was in the 90s, we hold dear. Batman, Superman, whatever. X-Men was big for me. Spider-Man was big. That was a great fucking show.
Yeah, it was.
The soundtrack
Holy
was
shit.
amazing. Same with X-Men.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if you feel the same way I feel, but there is a episode where, you know how in this episode in the series Mary Jane disappears because of the Green Goblin, right? And then she kind of comes back, but she's like Hydro Man.
Yeah, she's
right?
a water clone.
And there is a scene at the end when Mary Jane disappears and Peter gives out a scream. Bro, I felt that in my soul.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a scene like he yells at like to the guy. He's like, Warren, where the blazes are you? And she disappears and he's like, Mary Jane. And he's like, oh my God, I swear to God, I died. Yeah,
I remember that.
I died inside
Was
a
it
little
like
bit, bro.
Wolverine screaming for Yuriko?
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. It literally. I remember that like it was yesterday. Like it's amazing.
What pisses me off about the Spider-Man show is that they never got to finish it. They
I
never
think
got
that was like the last episode was the one with
Yeah.
Mary Jane.
Well, then they tried to continue it with the whole fucking unlimited thing, and that was whack. That was freaking.
I don't
whack.
even remember that, but like
You never watched Spider-Man Unlimited?
No, the last thing
Good
I
for
remember
you.
was
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Good
the
for
last
you.
thing I remember was when Spider-Man lost Mary Jane in the Hydro version of her, and then like Madam Web,
Right. Let's go find the real
told
Mary Jane.
him that like, the real Mary Jane is still out there, and let's go find her, and
then
that's how it
We
ended.
never end. Yeah, that was
And
pretty.
you never
bad.
got to really see what happened.
But those shows were awesome, man.
Yeah, they were.
We had a great childhood.
We did.
So I have a younger lad at work, and he's like in his early 20s, and you know we talk about stuff that we grew up on, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea.
Yeah,
what
he'll
it's
never
like to
know.
have.
As far as I'm concerned, the best pop culture came from the 80s and the 90s. And I still stand firm by that to this day.
Agreed. I think
Music, movies, everything.
we're all millennials here, right?
Yeah.
I would say we are I wouldn't say we're the best generation, right? But I would say we're the last generation that has any connection to the past. Because the kids that are after us, they're never going to know what it's like to get up and change the channel of a TV.
Right.
They're
Or be a human antenna.
Yeah, they're not going to know that. They're not going to know what it's like to grab a tape out of the cassette player and put your finger in the thing and squeeze it because it pulled the tape out. They're not going to know that shit. They're
Put up the Spice Channel and just hit it a certain way, and then like you kind of see a little.
Yeah, you got to try to watch it through the blur
That
lines.
was half video, half your imagination.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Because it was a blurry ass screen. It was all static and shit. You know, they're not going to know what it's like to go to a library. They're not going to know what it's like to go to the park kind of shit. You know, they go to the park, but not the same way.
Is that the guy's nipple or the girl's?
It's all the same to me. It's all the same to me. You know, they're I'm not gonna say they're lost, but they don't have what we had.
No, I mean, think about it. Like, if there was nothing on TV, like we had to go find something else to do. Where now it's like, well, I can just hit a button and watch whatever I want to watch. I can play whatever I want to play.
They're
I
used
can
to
see whatever I want to see.
They grew up with instant satisfaction versus we grew up with we need to find satisfaction. Does that make sense? No, am I crazy?
Yeah.
That work?
I mean, yeah.
Like
I remember if you loved the song, having to wait for the radio to play it
then press play and record
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, that's
record the fucking shit.
fuck, man.
Has some real fun.
B96 freaking the countdown, the top 9 or
We might be the
10.
last
Yeah.
generation to even still have CDs, like actual physical
Yeah.
media, DVDs sort of thing.
Right.
I still play CDs in my car.
Like we're not gonna know. Wow,
Oh,
What do you mean? Wow! Like you don't play CDs? I still have CD wallets in my
This
car.
guy still has
Do
an
you
MP3
really?
player.
I know you
I
didn't.
still use an MP3 player. Like I don't.
I know you didn't want
know
to
what?
say your age.
Kudos to you
Wait,
for
stop.
that.
You don't have
You
to
dated yourself right there.
No, I did not.
Yeah, sure. You
I did not.
I will give you kudos for still hanging on to it. I will give you kudos because I remember. Anybody remember the little holder on the visor for CDs? I had that shit. I mean, burned CDs were a thing.
Those are
LimeWire
huge.
was a thing back in the day. Nobody cared about freaking. Go ahead.
I used to wash them.
Oh, absolutely. What? Knock yourself out.
Break
Run.
time.
Just be careful with the camera. It might be a little tight back there, actually. All right. After a brief potty break, we are back and we are still talking about.
the
Marvel.
Israel and Palestine.
No, we're not.
Oh,
yeah.
So it all
Hey,
began
hey, hey.
1,000 years.
In a time of
Back to
gods.
where it began.
So we were just talking off camera about the greatest Joker of all time. Who would you say?
Live action.
Either.
It's Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
See?
I am very inclined. I'm pretty close to 100% inclined to agree with them. Only because Heath Ledger exists. I do think Heath Ledger did a hell of a performance
He did an
as
amazing
the crime
job.
prince of the crime.
I was
prince
one of the
Gotham.
guys who was like, really? Like, this guy's going to play the Joker, this pretty boy?
Brokeback Mountain guy.
Yeah.
Him?
I
Really?
was like, God damn.
Jake
All right.
Gyllenhaal's partner? Really? Him?
And he blew your balls off, right?
Dude, that's the only movie I went in the theaters to watch twice.
Brokeback
Only
Mountain?
No. I saw that 3 times. Just gonna have you know right now.
It's a great film, man.
You got it
Great
on
story about
DVD and
love.
everything?
2 men with their
Man.
passions.
Holy, have you
And
ever
sheep.
seen?
You can't forget the sheep.
Have you ever seen the freaking gab that they do on Family Guy about that?
No.
And it's like the point of view from the horse, and the horse looks in the fucking tent, and he starts. Ah!
Oh my God.
No.
Anyways, freaking Family Guy should have been canceled a long time ago.
Yeah.
Never mind. So greatest Batman actor. That's a better one.
Live action or
Both,
all together?
both.
Kevin Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
Okay.
God.
Sir.
It is that voice, man. It's just see, like
I will say
voice is
one thing
great.
about Kevin Conroy. Later on in his career, right? Later on, like in the games and all that, like after the animated series, it didn't have the same. It sounded the same, but it didn't have the same feel, especially the differences between Bruce and Batman. Like if you watch Mask of the Phantasm, it was completely different dialects between Bruce and Batman. It was really, really good. And then, I mean, mind you, he's a little older or whatever, I understand. It's a video game opposed to a film, but it didn't feel the same anymore. I knew it was him, but it didn't feel the same
because
as
like
the
Bruce
animation.
Tim wasn't behind those other projects. You
Could
know?
be,
Like,
could be.
They're basing it off like everyone loves these 2 guys as those voices. We're gonna hire them, and everyone's gonna fall in love with it. The Killing Joke movie is probably one of the worst
Yes.
animated films
Never
I've
saw it.
seen.
You never saw it?
The comic is
saw it.
amazing, but my God, that whole Batman-Batgirl relationship.
Yeah, that was kind of hot.
The animation.
That was kind of hot. I gotta lie to you. She was like,
It's just so it's like
I'm gonna go
daddy-daughter
for
to
it.
me, man. It's like that's some daddy-daughter shit
That's
right there.
true.
I'm just like,
see, but my
Why
only
you find it so hot?
my only disagreement. Hey. My only disagreement would be, then what's the reasoning for Mark Hamill? Because Mark Hamill's performance has been consistent throughout all of it. I don't think his performances as the Joker in the video games and the all the cartoon movies or whatever he's been in, the animated series have all been pretty consistent. His character's never really changed.
yeah.
Kevin Conroy's, I can tell you it has changed from the animated series to later on, like in the Arkham games or whatever. His performance kind of changed. He became more robotic sounding in the game, especially in the games. Now, again, I know it's a game, it's not a film, whatever.
Right.
But it became a little more robotic
Like
versus
monotone.
Yes,
just like I am the Dark Knight.
I am Batman kind of shit.
But
You know what I'm saying?
those early seasons of the Batman, the animated series,
Oh, it's great.
are unmatched.
Oh no, absolutely.
Like they're just top notch. You can't top that.
I don't know what movie show ever can challenge a lot of those storylines. I mean, every other story in that film, in that cartoon series was written amazingly. Like we can all name a favorite one. What's your favorite that you can recall? Your favorite Batman the Animated Series episode?
I don't know, man.
I got 2 of them. Clayface is one, and Two-Face, the 2-part Two-Face one.
Okay.
The Two-Face was pretty good.
So many.
I would have to say one of my favorites.
That's the craziest part. There's so many.
There's the one where he gets to meet his hero.
Oh, the Grey
It wasn't
Ghost.
Zorro, Grey
The
Ghost.
Grey Ghost.
Yeah,
That was a good
episode
one.
is amazing.
And the Grey Ghost was played by what the fuck was his name? The original Batman dude.
You're thinking
Adam West.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it was Adam West. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. There was so many great episodes. Even like
The Man Bat one was probably one of my favorites.
You like the Man Bat one? That's the first episode. That's the very first episode. I
God,
think.
that was a great one.
I think there's so many. The freaking Heart of
Ice.
Heart of Ice,
The
whatever the
first
Mr.
Mr.
Freeze
Freeze
one.
one.
That was a great episode. There's just so many, and that's why it's so upsetting when the movies suck. Like, what did you guys think of The Batman? Did you guys like The Batman? The fact that we got to say it that way is fucking beyond.
The Batman.
The Batman.
I was mixed on it.
Did you like the?
I liked that a little bit better
Robin
the second time I watched it.
Pattinson.
I thought it was hella too long. Anybody else feel that way?
I thought it was too long. I just thought it was okay. I still prefer Batman Begins over that.
I like Batman. I think Batman Begins is very underrated.
I guess blasphemous for me to say, but like I think Batman Begins was the best of the 3.
Of the
Christopher
Nolan?
ones.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I might
Well,
just-
Gotham did look like Gotham in the first one. It
Sure.
was dirty and dingy, and then
Sure.
the second one it looked like
Chicago.
It lost all that orange and gray and like that.
It
Yeah,
it had that comic book feel in that first film, and the second one I felt like it just they tried to be too real with it.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree with that. I think Batman Begins was very underrated. And the reason I say that is because I remember when the movie came out, I was working at Best Buy at the time. And
Back when there was Best Buy.
yeah, when there was Best Buy. I mean, there still is, but it's not same thing.
not what it was.
Before internet days and Amazon. I just aged myself, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember asking this girl to go watch it. And we went to go watch it maybe the weekend of its release or the week of its release. So either that weekend or the week.
Mhm.
And we went and the theater was fucking empty.
Really?
It was empty.
Batman
Wow.
Begins.
Batman Begins. It was empty. And I'm watching this movie and I'm like, hey, it's pretty fucking good. I remember when the DVD came out, because I worked at Best Buy, the DVD sold like a motherfucker. Because I think people didn't realize how good it was going to be. And
I
then the
loved it.
second one fucking sold like a motherfucker. It was a record breaker at the time or whatever. I would say between the first two, the second one to me is better only obviously because of Heath Ledger's performance.
Amazing.
The first one was really good. I just think those movies are out of order, right? I feel like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises should have came out back to back because they have more to do with each other versus putting The Dark Knight in between them.
I did not like Rises at all.
I didn't either, but the fact that it's kind of tied in with the first one, I guess I would
But
have
if Heath
preferred.
Ledger was alive, I think we would have had a way better experience with.
I heard they were going to use him. I had read somewhere that they were going to use him as like a liaison kind of thing. Like he was
Yeah.
going to help him kind of shit or whatever, which would have been cool to see because I don't think we've ever seen that on screen. Like the Joker helping Batman. That would have been kind of cool to see.
Okay.
But Heath Ledger's performance was fucking amazing. So best Marvel movie that you guys can think of.
best Marvel.
Marvel overall. So X-Men, 20th Century Fox, all of them.
My favorite Marvel film. There's a few that I can think of. Infinity War is probably is up there.
Okay.
I liked it more than Endgame.
Okay.
The first Iron Man movie.
Very underrated movie.
And I think that a really underrated film also is the Incredible Hulk film, the one with Edward Norton.
That was a good one.
I think that was really
That was a good one.
underrated film.
That was a lot better than the other one, than Hulk.
Hulk.
Hulk was terrible.
Eric
But they
Bana.
made it look like a fucking. They tried to make it look like a comic book, which that was the worst decision.
Are you talking about the John Woo one? I think it is.
Is it yeah.
What was his name?
The mutated
fucking
Dogs, yeah, with the poodle and the pit
The
bull- and
Asian
They did
director
get Hulk
dude.
right
What's
in
his
that
name?
film though. Like the more they shot him, the bigger he just got. And, like, they
Yeah.
got Hulk
Ang
right.
Lee. Ang Lee, the guy
Sure.
that did Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Right.
Right. Sir, favorite.
Man,
All
it's,
time.
it's so tough because at this point I've been so oversaturated by it all. Like I can't even like differentiate.
Differentiate.
Yeah, that word.
differentiate.
You
That
know,
word, that word.
English words.
He's drunk. I'm kidding.
Yeah, you sauced.
I got a little grenade here. You know. Fuck, man.
What sticks out to you? What do you remember? What's the one you remember all the time?
Guardians of the Galaxy is really good.
Oh, I
the
forgot
music
about that. That was good.
just instantly pulled you. Maybe the music was more powerful than the movie itself because I love this music. This is a good song.
You like the soundtrack?
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack. The second one was The third one kind of tugged at my heartstrings a little bit. I love animals. I see animal torture, I'm just like, I still cry. If I were to watch All Dogs Go to Heaven, I'll probably still shed a tear.
I can't watch that movie anymore.
Charlie can never come back. I'm just like,
holy crap! That's
All Dogs Go to Heaven. I can never watch that movie ever again.
These are the kids that don't know about these films like that.
Especially the story behind, like the what happened. Like
kid movies were meant to just destroy us.
Yeah.
To teach us lessons like everyone in your life is going to die. And you're like,
like, do you guys remember old movies like The Brave Little Toaster?
Yes. Secret of
Classic.
Nim.
It's fucking Disney fucking
You remember
classic.
Secret of Nim?
No, I don't remember that.
You never see Secret of Nim?
No.
Jesus Christ. It's the same people that made All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Holy crap.
Because the story
you
behind
spell
that,
something?
real quick, is Don Bluth, who worked for Disney. I don't remember exactly what was going on, but there was maybe some kind of like pay dispute or whatnot. Okay. So Don Bluth, who was one of the head animators for Disney at that time, split off from Disney and took several animators with him and created his own animation company. And they created Secret of Nim was the first film. All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Holy crap.
An American Tale and Land Before Time.
American Tale's the Fievel thing, right?
Fievel.
The Fievel or whatever. I remember that movie a lot. I don't remember. I think I had it like a bootleg copy on
Is that the rat with the big hat?
Yes.
Yes. But do you guys remember? Hey, do you guys remember?
Big difference.
Do you guys remember The Great Mouse Detective?
Yeah.
That movie was so cool for me, bro. I remember he would get mad because they called him a rat.
Radigan.
Or whatever.
It's in the name.
Bro, that movie was so freaking cool. We had a great childhood.
We were spoiled.
Man, holy crap.
We were spoiled with great content.
That'll stump them.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Pure
Good
luck.
luck. God, you made me watch that movie.
It's great.
Pure Luck?
Pure luck.
I never heard
So
of
like
it.
the only funny part that I
Danny
remember,
Glover and
I don't know.
Martin Short.
The only part of that movie that made me laugh was when the guy's like burning up, like his arm goes on fire or some shit at the hospital or some shit. That's the only part that made me
I've
laugh.
never heard
God.
of this movie.
Look it up. If you like early 90s stuff, it's great.
I'm curious.
It's a pretty
This
funny movie.
sounds familiar.
I've never heard of it.
It's a pretty funny movie.
Let me see here.
Does it ring a bell? No.
I remember seeing the movie cover. I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've never seen it.
The only
doing
reason I
yourself
saw
a
he
disservice.
forced me to watch it. What were we talking about? Favorite superhero movie? Jonathan, favorite superhero movie. If you say a Terminator movie or an Arnold movie, I'll kick you in the face.
No, if we're talking about Marvel DC, I'd say The Joker.
The Joker?
Yeah.
Good movie.
I don't know how they're going to top it. There's
By
part two
making
coming out.
by making a
Joaquin
musical.
Phoenix movie?
Yeah.
You didn't like it?
I'm not big on musicals.
Well, I'm not big on musicals either.
I don't know how I'm gonna feel.
I'm hoping that's just a fucking
Right,
joke.
like if it's minor and if it's good, it won't bother me so much. But if the whole thing's a musical,
you can't make the Joker into Grease. It doesn't work.
I don't know. I think they're
going
going to try. You have Lady Gaga in there. I mean, like,
Oh.
I mean, she's not a terrible actress.
Margot Robbie, like,
Oh God.
I think that the
Man's
thing is,
melting over here.
I'm just resting my face on this microphone.
I feel bad for Margot Robbie because like you could tell she had a lot of enthusiasm and really loved playing that character, and it's just like a lot of the film just ended up failing her.
So here's my
some
question:
ways.
do we feel this way? Because I feel the same way. I think she resembled what I think of Harley Quinn. Now here's my question: I know that the character was built and done for the animated show. I understand it. Do we feel that way because she kind of took elements from the Harley Quinn we know of from the animated show?
I mean, definitely. I mean, she definitely picked up a lot off.
Oh, I mean, when she said the pudding thing, that just made me.
The pudding.
Oh God.
She did better in the James Gunn one than the first Suicide Squad one. Mostly because like I saw that in the theater, and like my biggest complaint about her performance in that film was like she would have that Harley Quinn accent, like
The New York
come in and out.
thing.
Yeah, that New York accent it would kind of like come in and out in the film. It wouldn't be consistent.
That's true.
It's a little bit better in the next film.
Well, she ironed it out probably.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my only real complaint, but like I could see what she was going for. I could tell she knew what the character was.
And I appreciate that more because that means you kind of looked into it.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you took some, I don't remember who the actress was who did the voice of Harley Quinn back
She
in
passed
the,
away recently.
Yeah, she passed away recently.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the fact that you went in there and you saw it and you took stuff from it. Like I remember Harley Quinn really good from the animated show. Like I remember, oh, I do.
Of course.
You remember the episode of the animated show where what's that little guy's name that he supposedly killed Batman? We fell off the
Sid the Squid.
Sid the Squid.
Sid the Squid.
Sid the Squid. That guy. He was doing the shadows with the
guy who killed Batman.
And then they have the eulogy, which was a great fucking thing. Dear friends, that whole
At
thing.
the end, who's for Chinese?
Who's for Chinese? And then she's like, you really put the fun in funeral. That episode was great.
It is great, yeah.
If you did a movie on that episode, I think you'd fucking have a
How
hit.
fucking recently have you watched this?
Oh, it's ingrained. It's ingrained in me.
You haven't seen this shit? Like,
I mean, not since I was a kid.
Do you not remember that episode?
No.
Really?
man,
Yeah.
I could recite certain things. Like
I can tell you the whole eulogy, like that ass.
I mean, you've watched it 1,000
Oh
times.
my god! I was gonna use that eulogy as a fucking way to get an acting agency. You know, you have to give a demo or whatever. I was
Do
gonna
a monologue.
I was gonna do a monologue because that's a great monologue. That is a great monologue. But I think I appreciate when actors go into the old lure of what we enjoyed, which a lot of people like that show. That's a critically, I would probably argue, if I researched pretty well, it's probably a critically acclaimed cartoon show.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, to go back and watch that and kind of take the little, things from it, the whole pudding and the whatever that she would say or blah, blah, blah. I think in the first, what were they called? What was the group called? Suicide Squad?
Mm-hmm.
In the first one, I think the problem was they didn't give her the scenes that made sense. So like one of the deleted scenes is her and the Joker, right? Where she's running him down with a bike and they have a little scene or whatever. That scene is awesome. And it wasn't in the movie. And Jared Leto didn't have a good.
Yeah, the air cut. I would love to see it just to see it, but man,
You've never seen that deleted
Well,
scene?
I would love to see like what the director's original vision of the film would have been.
That's a good point. If you filmed it, that was the reason
There's
why you filmed
footage
it.
that he shot that ended up not being in the final
I
version.
also think Jared Leto got the short end of the stick when
Several times.
when he wanted to really portray this character.
Mhm.
I'm not saying he did great, but I feel like he didn't get a fair shot because he's barely in the film, and he didn't. I mean, even in not the second one, when he was in the Snyder Cut thing.
that was a much
Justice
better
League.
performance.
Oh my
but
God,
still
that monologue.
Still something that was missing. I can't
But
put my
I think
finger on
fit.
it.
But I think he fit that world he was in. Like he's not the Joker. Like for me, the Joker's what portrays the Joker in film and in TV to me is Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill. Those are my Jokers.
Not Jack
Yeah.
Nicholson.
No, I mean I like Jack Nicholson, but he's not. He's almost like what you said about the whole overall Christian Bale thing. He's too real, in a way for me. Like he's not like.
He's more playing himself.
Yeah, I don't know. Jack Nicholson was great. Don't get me wrong. Original OG dude, right? Got it. But to me, Heath Ledger stands out.
That guy.
I'm drunk. I'm
He's
sorry.
watching.
Heath Ledger stands out, and Mark Hamill stands out. Mark Hamill stands out as like the ideal Joker character.
Whenever I read comics, I'm hearing Mark Hamill's voice.
Agreed. The same way.
Just how it
and
is.
have you ever seen? I'm pretty sure you guys have seen like him behind the scenes, like how he fucking gets into that shit. Like he literally is like he's just doing this shit, and he's talking to the microphone, and he's just going fucking crazy. Like I'm like that dude's a fucking monster.
Did you know who almost played the Joker voice? Was Tim Curry. He actually auditioned for it as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. I did hear that. I did hear about that.
There's actually some cuts on YouTube. It's interesting, but you can see why he wasn't chosen. But he would have been still pretty good,
Okay.
in my opinion, at least. I mean,
See, here's the funny thing. Besides Mark Hamill, who else has really hit the nail on the coffin? I know names are kind of hard to remember, but like in a video game, who do you remember? What video game do you remember that was portrayed pretty well that wasn't Mark Hamill? That's hard.
Well, I don't play video games, so like for me, it's Mark Hamill. And
So you've never played an Arkham game? and you have a Batman shirt. Those games are really good. I will tell you, those games are worth buying.
I don't play games at all.
I have them.
Man,
I'm actually thinking about
not a
playing
gamer.
Arkham Knight on
Those
my
are good
stream.
games. Those are good games.
Yeah.
I will say those are very faithful to the comic, very faithful to the overall lore of Batman.
For me, it's Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill. Those are my two favorite Jokers.
That's fair. That's fair. So my favorite Marvel movie, since I blabbed all that and I never said it. I would say I love Civil War. Only because it's not your atypical superhero film. So there's no super villain. It's them fighting each other,
essentially.
which was unique at the time. Because usually it's like, okay, where's the next big bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a little different. I enjoyed that one a lot. Man,
Winter Soldier too, man. I forgot about those two.
That one
Winter
was good,
Soldier
too.
and Civil War were really good.
Winter Soldier was a solid film.
yes, it was. I would argue Spider-Man 2 was pretty good for its time.
I love
yes.
that movie. It's so
My-
Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi. I got a Necronomicon on my back here. I don't know if you've ever seen Evil Dead, but
The
like,
old, oh yeah, I remember. He did those.
yeah.
He did those. Isn't there a big thing about him and using the same car in the films? I saw something about that, right?
Yes, yellow. God, what was it?
It's like a Chevy something.
1976.
Yeah, some car.
It
some
doesn't
yellow
even
car.
run anymore. He just puts wheels on it. He just puts it.
He just has it in his back.
And plus, he always has Bruce
Pushes it
Campbell.
everywhere.
Bruce
Bruce Campbell always does an appearance
Yeah.
in
It
every
was like
single
my
one of his films.
hero. I would love to see him play like Bruce Wayne or something. You know.
So I was watching. I get a lot of since I Google this shit, so you know how the system is listening to everything you say. I get a lot of like behind the scenes stuff on shorts and whatever. And I recently got one of the scene in Spider-Man 2 where Dr. Octavius he kind of caught Spider-Man and he opens the doors and he's laying on the floor and the people defend him, the people from New York. That you're gonna have to go through me. Or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
So I saw the behind the scenes stuff of that. So it's like Alfred Molina, he's on like wires, no arms, no nothing. The door just explodes and he just goes, he's mine. All right, cut. That was great. I'm like, dude, how much did he make right there? How much money did he fucking make right there? Grand.
Couple grand.
He probably got paid like $10,000 for that shit.
It's a couple grand.
Probably.
Shit.
Imagine that type of poll. Like just me being here, I'm guaranteed 10, 20 grand. Just jump for
nice.
5 minutes in a film.
What did you think of the Andrew Garfield films?
I thought, okay, that's a great question. The first one to me was pretty damn good.
I liked the first one. It was all right.
I'll tell you what, because it was different. It didn't look the same like what we thought we thought Spider-Man looked like. I kind of like the suit. I know it was different, but I liked the suit. I didn't like that the second one, they went back to like the basic Spider-Man suit. I get it, but I was okay with, staying away from it. I was okay with it. Andrew Garfield's a great actor. The only thing I had a problem with that movie was I thought, so Tobey Maguire played a good Peter Parker. I don't think he played a great Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield played a great Spider-Man. I didn't think he played a great Peter Parker.
I could feel that.
He was too cool to be Peter Parker. Does that make sense?
That was one of my big things with that.
Like he
movie.
got a
It's
chick.
like, this guy's like
he got a girl really quickly.
How I felt about Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the same way how I felt about Batman and Robin. Like they went too far with it. It felt too like slapsticky. I don't know, not slapsticky, but like it's just parody like. It just felt very jokey.
Yeah,
like, what they were doing. I couldn't take the villains seriously.
Yeah. Well, they had way too many villains, and two of them weren't even significant. So they had the guy who was going to play the Rhino at one point,
Paul
forgot.
Giamatti.
Yeah, and then they had the Green Goblin who really doesn't have a significant
Paul
role.
Giamatti was.
I
Gonna
have
play
no
the
comment.
No,
Rhino?
he did play the Rhino. He did, but he was like in a mechanical suit at the fucking end, or whatever. I will say that clock tower death of Gwen Stacy thing was very kind of like, I cringed when she hit the ground. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, it's just like
That looked
just
like it
the
hurt.
back of her head just tapped,
Yeah.
and that was it.
I was just like, oh, that looked like it hurt.
Yeah.
That looked like it hurt.
But
and then
like-
they paid it off in the new one.
Seeing how it he redeemed himself in No Way Home, like holy shit.
Question. You guys make films.
Yeah.
If you had to redo that scene, like me, I would have let that simmer for like another 40 seconds. I felt like that was too fast.
Are we talking the death of Gwen Stacy?
in the newest
rescue
one,
of
the
MJ?
rescue of MJ?
Him making his redemption.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because I felt like it was super
Yeah.
fast and they didn't give it time to kind of sink in.
That was a problem. That was my one problem with those movies was that I know it's a Tom Holland film, but I wanted a little bit more of my boys. You know, I wanted to, like, they felt like they were there and then they were gone.
They did stuff and that's
and
it.
like they were there and they had their few little quips and little jokes, but it just
They did this.
like, oh, you,
They did.
oh, you.
They did.
I will say there was one. So one was that moment. I wanted that moment because I felt it. Like I'm like, oh shit, he saved her. Like just look at Andrew for a few. Andrew's a great actor when it comes to facial expression.
Yeah.
Linger on that
Sit on
motherfucker
it.
for a sec. Yeah, let me feel
Let
it.
us feel it. Like, oh my God.
The other thing that was missing in that movie, I wanted a fight between, and I know they filmed it, they never released it. I wanted a fight between him and the Green Goblin, Tobey Maguire and the Green Goblin.
Yeah.
They filmed it.
I didn't see that. They
There's
did
behind
that?
the scenes. There's behind the scenes stuff
did
of it,
not
but they
see
never released it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Out of all the people he had an interaction with, Tobey Maguire's character should have. I know he had an interaction with Doc Ock because obviously whatever he was more of a teacher figure for him. But bro, you killed his son. Nah, man, you didn't kill him, but whatever. Like you had a connection with it. Like you have to have a moment with that dude. He's your original bad guy, and it wasn't there. Plus, he stabs him at the end, which.
Yeah.
You couldn't have the spider sense go off. I mean, I guess there's plot holes. Like,
I mean, he's
in the
old,
film,
bro.
but I'm still having a good time watching it.
Oh, my back.
He's old. He couldn't catch it fast enough. He's a little.
I
older.
guess so. That
I guess we're all getting to that point.
His back.
Point, you know? Shit.
So just to change gears.
Yeah.
What do you guys have going forward?
Oh.
What's going on?
Well, I think one thing we wanted to talk about real quickly was like screenings that we've done in the past. Obviously, like in the future, we would love to do another screening. We did our first one at a theater film festival.
You're talking about the patio?
No, I'm
Or are you talking about our own
The
personal
patio's like right around the corner from my house.
Yeah.
No, like the one we did.
Restaurant too.
The one we did back in 2017, I think it was.
Has it been that long?
Yes, it was. It was at
It's like
Hey,
aging.
that was a great dramatic way of saying that.
He sounded like Robin Williams in Jumanji. What year is it? What?
I just felt like I got some gray hairs all of a sudden. I'm like, oh God, it's
shit.
done.
Your life just reflected in front of your face.
No,
great acting, great
God.
acting, great
Wait,
acting.
Thank you.
Yeah, our very first like screening event was back in 2017, I believe it was, and it was at the I can't remember what the name of this place was, the Prop Theater. And, yeah, and we screened one of our little like short like Christmas horror like shorts, and there weren't many people there, and even like it was kind of awkward because like we were the last film to show, and there was like a handful of people in the crowd, maybe like 10, 15 people, like in this little like theater room, and like there was no moderator or anything. So like when the movie was over, I went up.
It was funny because it's a dark room and there's a spotlight on him. He just walks up, he hits the button.
So,
Oh, that was it.
so
That's the director. And I'm like,
So
that
that
wasn't my proudest work, you know. It's just something I made. You know, I was like,
it was a fun
Hey,
little
you
short.
did something.
exactly.
That's the first
The
step.
second one was in 2018, and this was for our short horror film, Mr. No Face. And how that came about was that we did this at the Patio Theater. A friend of ours, who we still collaborate with to this day, he was having a feature debuting there. And originally, he was going to have one of his other shorts like open up for the event. But I suggested to him, like, hey, well, we just finished our short. Why don't we open up for your thing?
Sure.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, that actually sounds interesting. So him and his producer talked about it, and they agreed. So we had our short open up for his feature, and it was at the Patio Theater. And unfortunately, I don't remember too much about the event because
Too much wine.
I went through 3 bottles of wine that night, and I remember because like we were in a private party room, like on a different area of the Patio Theater. So I was constantly getting like, messages from people I invited, like, where are you? Where are you? So I was constantly running back and forth, like getting people that I knew that showed up and bringing them up to the party room. And so that's probably the memory a lot of people have of me of that night, is like constantly running back and forth and running back and
By
forth.
the time I got there, this man was sloshed.
yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because
Yes.
I live right next door to the patio. I've never been in it.
Really?
I've never been in it.
Ooh.
Now, here's my thing. It's not the most appealing looking place from the outside, because the marquee right? Because I pass by that marquee every morning.
Right.
And I see nothing but pigeons flying in it or whatever. Everything's kind of falling apart. And I'm like, it almost feels like, what's the other one? The one on Milwaukee on going towards California. There's like a theater over there, but it's more like a concert. It's more of a Congress Theater. So the Congress Theater, right? I've never been in it, but the way it looks like from the outside, it looks like crap. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why are we not investing in your marquee? Because the marquee looks pretty rough. I think that right now they're doing like a Friday the 13th kind of movie stretch right now, actually.
It's still up and running to this day.
Yeah, I pass by it every
Your thoughts
morning.
on the patio theater?
It's been years since I've been there.
Interior wise,
It's been years since I've been there, and maybe they've upgraded it, but I don't hate it. But if you don't mind sitting there listening to like the smell of Bud Light in the carpets, you know,
it's at some concerts.
But I also kind of feel it because, like, you know, I'm from that world of like dingy, grungy,
Fair
you know,
enough,
like
fair
so
enough.
I embrace it. You know, like I think we're thinking about having another event there actually.
But do you understand what I'm saying though? So I'm like the marquee is the one thing for me that I'm like, mind you, I see it every day.
Mhm.
Right? I see it every day on my way to work. So it's like, I'm like, sometimes I look at it, I'm like, is this place still open?
It is dingy, but it's cool. Like
Right, it is.
it is a 1,500 seat venue.
Oh, shit.
So it's huge on the inside, and it's a hell of a thing. Like when
I do see big ass lines like on occasion.
Yeah, and it's
Right,
around the
surprising.
corner
and I'll
of that
never
place.
forget like the day where like we went in to go like do the test, like, you know, viewing
Sure.
of the short that we had along with the feature of my friend, and it was a hell of a feeling being in like a big room like that and seeing something you worked on the big screen, like, you know, like showing like, holy shit, like, or something we worked on is on the big screen right now.
That was probably one of the most magical moments, like seeing something you're proud of
Yeah.
on the screen. You're like,
I'll tell you. So we were in. I made a short film this summer. Well, I let it go this summer, and we did a private showing for like friends, family, whatever, and of course, obviously they're friends, family, so everybody claps, everybody says you did great, whatever. So then we also put it in a couple film festivals. One of the film festivals picked us up, and we went, and I was there, and to see reactions from strangers in moments that you wanted reactions is so fucking satisfying.
it is.
It is.
Yeah, it's like a high that's hard to kind of explain. Like I'm waiting for. I'm like,
I want more of that.
Are they gonna react? Are they gonna? There it is. There it is.
Did
Go
you
ahead.
actually like sit and actually watch it with everyone?
Yes.
Or- I couldn't do it.
Why? Nervous?
I was extremely nervous. First off, like, the guys who organized the event itself, like that event, they went on stage and they were like pretty much introducing it. There was like maybe 200 people that showed up, and they decided to introduce me and him like on stage, like, you know, to introduce our short film before their feature.
That's
would go
pretty
on.
cool.
And I was, like I said, like you said, I was sloshed by that. I was like, I went through like 3 bottles of wine on my own. And we're on stage, and I the only thing I remember was that like we're on stage, and he pretty much said everything that needed to be said. And when he handed the mic to me, I was just like, yeah, enjoy the show, everybody.
That's like some shit you
And
wouldn't say.
enjoy the
This
show.
motherfucker- That's what that motherfucker was saying
He
right
started out the evening, let it breathe, and then by the end of it, he's throwing wine bottles at people.
there. So, what are you guys? So you guys are looking for you guys are doing something new?
We're doing a ton of stuff.
Right
We
on.
got 2 scripts already that we're working on. We've already passed it along each other a couple times. We have a couple features planned. I mean, but like,
So you guys do the whole thing, right? You
We do
guys do the whole
everything.
production thing,
Right.
gear and the whole 9 yards.
Well, what's happening now is that we had another screening event at the Davis Theater back in 2019.
Where is that?
the Lincoln Square?
It's in Lincoln. Oh, I know
It's-
exactly where
it's in
Never
Lincoln
mind.
Square.
I know exactly where it's
So
at.
we had a screening event there for one of our other shorts, but we actually kind of made it into a mini short film festival. We had like 3 or 4 other shorts, and that's where I
Fair
met
enough.
Tim Troy. I
Okay.
invited him to be on there.
Right on.
And from that point on, we decided like we need to go something bigger. So then there's, I guess I can talk about Chew right now. I don't know how
Go
I'm on
for
a
it.
time limit right now.
No,
But like,
we're good.
okay, so and talk about this real quick. After we did the Davis Theater screening, we decided that like there was a script and an idea that we'd been sitting on for years, since like 2015, 2016, to do a fan film based off a comic book called from the comic book is called Chew. And it's from the same like distributor that released Walking Dead.
Okay.
And a friend of ours wrote a script based off of an outline that I wrote. and it was fantastic, and we loved it. And so after we did the short film we released at that
Don't break my set.
after we released that short film we did at the Davis Theater in 2019, we're like, okay, I think we're ready for the next one. I think we're ready for Chew. Let's try Chew.
Right.
And we got a bigger crew together.
Biggest crew we've ever had, and the biggest budget we've ever worked with.
We actually did like auditions for it and everything. We rented out spaces and we had people come out for it and like
Professionals.
Yeah, you guys legit. It's legit.
So
Apple boxes and everything.
Yeah. So the lead actor that we wanted to choose to be the lead actor,
Robert Downey Jr.
Exactly.
He didn't show
It was
up.
just too expensive, man. I mean, I can't afford 20 mil.
He didn't make the cut. He didn't make the cut.
Yeah.
No. So we had to
his
go for
audition wasn't all that
Damn.
great.
So we had to go for the next best thing. So this guy was a union actor, and this was originally going to be a non-union project, and but he was perfect for this part. He even came in dressed as the character at the audition.
Okay.
So we're like, we got to get this guy. So like I talked to the union people, and they're like, this is what you got to do, and you got to fill out this paperwork and this contract, and you got to pay these minimum rates or whatnot. So I'm like, I talked to my investor buddy that I have, and like he was like, okay, like he was willing to like cough up the money to make it to a union project. So we did that, and we started filming in late summer of 2019, and then we continued to film up until November of 2019, and we were making good progress on the shoot. And then we still had additional like outdoor shoots to do, so we had to postpone shooting because it was getting colder. So we're like, all right, let's just postpone shooting and wait till it gets warmer outside. Let's just go wait till spring of next year.
Sure.
And then 2020 happened.
Then everyone got
Everything
the
shut
sniffles.
No, it gets better.
The mysterious
It gets better.
virus from unknown places.
It gets better. So in January or February, he cut together a little teaser of what we had filmed and put it up on YouTube. And then in February, I think, one of the co-creators of the comic book reached out to me and actually saw it and actually like was commenting like how much he loved what he saw.
Right on.
And he was like, this is awesome. Like, I love what you guys are doing. I would look forward to seeing more. And I'm like, holy shit. And I actually started a little correspondence with him. And like, I even started to maybe think of the possibility of like, maybe like trying to turn this into an official thing and acquiring the rights. And I had connections to like, some producer people and some like investor people. And they all seemed fascinated with this project. And like I said, 2020 then happened. And then it shut everything the fuck down. There was no way we could do anything. And then I think in August of 20, I tried to get everyone back together to continue shooting, but some people like just were reluctant to come back, and I don't blame them. So we did some additional light shooting, some extra like establishing shots, just continuing on, going on until November of 20. And after that, like I wanted to give up on that project. I was just like, I'm done with this shit. So then like the following year of 22, things started calming down. There were vaccines, and the union were like loosening the restrictions.
We still had to get a sniffle supervisor as well.
Yes, we had to get
we had to pay for his schooling to come in just to sit there and be like.
So you guys had a pretty big. You guys had a whole pretty good budget then at that point.
For this, yes, it was probably our biggest budget
So
project.
So your investor, was it someone you knew personally, or
yes?
Okay, so it was somebody who was willing to help.
Yeah, it was a guy that I made friends with, and that's a whole nother story.
Because I'm like, we haven't even crossed that bridge. We're funding our own shit. We're in negatives every time we start.
I owe this man. He funded the event we did at the Davis Theater in 2019, and like I owe this guy so much. But like, in like August of 21, we finally got back together and started doing some shooting with the actors again, and then in October of 21. We grinded it out over a grueling weekend shoot to get everything we needed to get done. And that was like 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. shoots back-to-back days. And I'm not even going to go into the details of what happened in those 2 nights. But it was grueling, and we got everything we needed to get done. We celebrated with tequila shots and everything.
And we're bitching about our little fucking problems.
Right. So then
you guys are up at 4 in the
23.
fucking morning.
So that was in 21. So 22, you probably know like the arduous task of like editing and like how long that takes.
Definitely.
So
shut the hell up. You know
we all have personal lives, and we all have work lives or whatnot. So there's only so much time we have to like invest in this. So like he was working on it. He did what he could with it, and then like by the end of 22, he had finished what he needed to do with it.
I got to the point where I'm just like, I can't look at this anymore because I'd already spent hundreds of hours
And
on
this
it.
is an
I'm just
important
like, I need
project.
fresh
Like,
eyes on
it's-
this thing.
You know what's the most annoying thing is like when you're editing something and there's something annoying about it, like a song or a music or something, and you got to
Something
see
you
it
missed, like, oh, I could have done this better.
so many times, and I'm like, you're. I'm over here playing basketball, and I'm humming the fucking song in my head. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is insanity.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, so then like in earlier this year, we were ready to hand it off to another editor to work on things like coloring and sound design
Right on.
and sound fixing and whatnot. So he got slammed with editing projects over the summer. So he's been slowly grinding away on it. So he has been working at it.
I mean,
and
you can't complain. I mean, he's doing it for free
Yeah.
for the most part.
You do
Beggars
what you
can't be
gotta do.
choosers. Beggars can't be
you,
choosers.
good,
Exactly.
you do what you got to do. So like that comic book project is coming together. And there is another short horror film that I started work on back in May of 21 that we did a bunch of reshoots with Maggie Hull.
Oh yeah.
She's in it. She's in it, and that's currently in post production as well. So we have 2 projects in post productions, and like those should be mostly finished by the end of the year.
Right on.
We've written a new short that we tentatively have a rehearsal reading for in November.
Okay.
We have location already tentatively set up. It's a sci-fi short horror.
I guess the best way you could put it is like it's an AA meeting where they're talking about something they've seen and they start getting paranoid. It's like a one set area, no moving around, nothing crazy.
Okay.
Not like Night of the Living Dead, it's all just in one spot.
So I got a question for you guys, since obviously I'm into the whole arts and all that, and I have a few things that I'm working on.
Mhm.
How open are you guys to like collaborating on projects, like working together with other people?
We're pretty open. I will say, like, sometimes it can hurt sometimes because some people are very intent on like, this is my vision and like this is how I see it, and I'm just like, yeah, but we could maybe do it this way, and you're like, no,
Motherfucker. No, that's not what I said.
Here's the thing, especially like with the comic book film. I mean, there's always going to be like different personalities you work with. Everyone's going to have different like ideas and opinions, and especially if they feel like
A certain way about something.
especially like if they sense like this is like a potential like really like fruitful project, like
Sure.
they get more passionate and interested in it, so they
Egos
want
just
to
get
say
real
more. Their
big.
egos, so you get more ego clashing, like like on particular projects, and like you have to manage that sort of thing. And it's challenging. So to bring in other people that could potentially like come into your thing and be like, oh, like this is really good. I think it should go like this or go like that, and then you have like 4, 5, or 6 people like surrounding you like that, being like that,
Right.
and you kind of having to like
Well, I guess I understand. I guess that can be. I can see where that could be a problem. I guess I can see where that's be a problem.
yeah.
So the reason I ask is because like, what else? So you guys direct the whole 9 yards, audio and stuff like that. You guys work on all that stuff, or you guys are just more hands off? Like,
Oh, we pretty much do it. We get we get people who can do camera work for us. We got a guy that can do sound work for us. But pretty much we do all the directing, editing,
story writing.
writing. Where's I gonna go with this? My brain just ran flat. I had a good thing going here and I just ruined it.
so the reason I ask is because I have a project that I'm trying to get off off on its way. I put it aside because I had to do an editing project that I had to do. And one of the problems I had, I don't know if you guys run into this problem. Obviously, you guys had a little more funding than we did, so you guys can pay more people to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I find it hard to always have people that are interested in the art, right? Because if you don't find fun in this, you're not gonna put effort into it.
Okay.
Unless there's money involved.
Okay. The one thing
You
I
give
will
people
say,
money, they're involved.
The
Even
one
if
thing
there's money involved, people will still.
Then it's
That-
always fun.
Dip
Yeah,
on
that's
you.
true. That's
I
true.
will say this, and I will relate it to what happened between us the last few days. We're constantly like reminding me of like if we were shooting, and like the last 3 days, like are we on? Are we on? Are we on? And like I do the exact same thing, and probably like I'm imagining like you might have had situations where like people cancel on you last minute, people didn't show up, And like,
No, that's never happened. No, everyone's always held their word.
okay, so that happened to us repetitively, like on several shoots.
Dozens of
and I'll
times.
give you a quick story on the web series we did. Talking about John. There was a scene in the first season where one of the main characters was supposed to be arrested. And I was working at a restaurant at the time, and I was friends with these two guys who was fascinated by what I was doing. And I was like, oh, why don't you guys play these two cop characters like in this episode that I have planned? They're, oh, yeah, we would love to do it. We'd love to do it. Like, okay. I scheduled them. I planned it. And my cousin John was going to be there just to be the cameraman. Because like, I think me and him were in the scene as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And another friend of ours. And the day comes to shoot, and these guys aren't answering their phone. Neither one of them. And one guy canceled because he was with his girlfriend, and another guy canceled because it was scheduled to rain that day and it didn't rain. And like, no, it's not canceled because I didn't tell you it was canceled.
Right,
I would
right. Come on,
have
it's still
told
on.
you.
I
So
know
then, like-
canceling.
So like everyone was there, and I'm like, fuck, what do we do? So I look at my cousin. I'm like, hey, John, come here. You want to act in this scene? It's gonna be like one character, one cop character. He's like, okay, and like he doesn't. He speaks English, but he has a super thick accent.
Sure.
And like
Where's he from?
El Salvador.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where my family's from.
Okay.
And so I was just like, okay, John, you're gonna be a cop in this scene, and you're gonna be doing this. And I'm gonna improvise exactly what he was gonna be doing. He's like, okay,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I knew
Give me
it.
a minute.
I can do it.
And for season 1, we didn't have sound, so we didn't have to worry about boom operator
Sure.
or anything. So like I got behind the camera, and so he was the one cop character arresting one of the main characters, and it ended up working great. And he was in that one episode, and in season 2 we brought him back because we had a lot of good feedback from him being in the scene, and he's hilarious in season 2.
I think the challenging part of filmmaking is, again, it's finding people that have the same mindset. Even though, like, I agree with you in the sense it could be challenging with people that have the same mindset, because I wouldn't say I'm super aggressive when I'm thinking or whatever, but
Sure you are.
I can be a little challenging. I can be I like to challenge the authority a little bit, but I'm dedicated to this shit. I've spent money, time, effort, sweat doing this shit. Like you said, I mean, I'm one of those, like, I'm going to make sure I do what I need to do to make sure we're ready to go, whatever. I just hope that you give me the same courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we all run into those problems. We ran into that problem all the time.
You ever deal with cops?
Like real cops?
Yeah,
Oh man.
Like,
we've had that a few times.
What do you
Yeah.
mean? Explain real quick.
Like trespassing or like
we do this little thing where, like, if we see an area that we like and we're not allowed to film there, we're going to film there.
yes, yes.
We call it guerrilla war filming.
Yeah.
We go in, we get it done, and we dip out. Like,
Let's go film at that
What are the
abandoned
tools of
Six
the
Flags
trade?
in New Orleans.
Bolt cutters and all sorts of.
No, the only reason I asked is because, you know, filmmaking is tough, especially finding people that want to do it. You know, because again, like I think I don't know if I told you guys, I probably didn't say it now, but I said it at work, and I'm like, the problem with filmmaking is everyone's gun ho at the beginning.
Sure.
Everyone's like, yeah, I can do this. I'll be there. Until you tell them, we're going to be there from 9 to midnight
On this day at
on
this
this day. Oh, really? But I have this, and I have that.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
That's why podcasts fucking fail most of the time. Like, I'm surprised. Well, I know why me and him still do it, but most of the people fail because they don't ever realize how much work this takes. They think it's fucking easy. They think they're going to get the views they want. No, this takes time. A lot of fucking
A lot of
time.
scheduling and planning.
Yes, it takes a lot of it.
You know, what pisses
I do
me
a
off-
bulk of that, but you know, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
What pisses me off the most is when we're scheduling to film a scene or you know, something's happening and the person doesn't show up, and I'm wondering where they're at, and they're like, "Oh, this came up and I can't show up. Can we do it tomorrow?" Motherfucker, we didn't plan it for tomorrow.
No,
Like there is no tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow.
There
Where's
is
the,
no
name that
tomorrow.
movie.
Turns
Name
around.
that movie. What's that
Everyone,
movie from?
we planned it for today.
Oh, that's from Rocky.
Yes.
There is no tomorrow.
Like we planned it for today. All the scheduling and planning and organizing was for this day, not for like, oh, hey, can you just do it tomorrow? Like,
I just never understood why you can't have the common courtesy of the day. You can't tell me you just found out that your cousin's getting married. I'm sorry. You can't just tell me
Yeah.
that.
Just
Yeah.
found out I got a
Yeah.
graduation to attend.
I'm serious.
All right.
Really? I mean, you could have told me yesterday. or whatever. But nonetheless, I'm sorry, we keep going into tangents. So projects coming up, you have a few, correct?
Yeah, we have 2 projects in post-production. We have the a comic book fan film, Chew, which we call Beat Cop.
Okay.
Chew fan film.
We have a short horror film called Wordalock.
Wordalock? Okay.
Which is a slasher, like in a short horror film. We started in May of 2021.
Okay.
That's actually closer to completion. That just needs a little bit more editing, a little bit more music, and coloring and whatnot.
And Word of Lock is like one that we kind of stepped back on. We just more did like producing for.
Yeah, we actually had someone else come in and do like the camera work and directing for it at the time.
Yeah.
And we have the new project that we just wrote, and that little like a back and forth we would do writing wise. That's the first time we've done that in quite a while, actually, where I wrote something and gave it to him, gave it back to me, and then we go back and forth. So we have a table reading of that, I think next month.
It was like November 18th or something.
November 18th or something like that.
Okay.
And we have a location already tentatively set up for that shoot. We may try to shoot it later this year, or we could wait till it gets warmer again. But we may or may not have our acting return in that. We haven't acted in something in our own stuff in a while now, but
it's been a minute.
Potentially we might be in it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's what we have right now. And we would love to do another screening event. Maybe we could go back to the patio theater or
Music box.
Yeah, if you have anything
the
ready
music
next year
box
around
or
that
the
time,
den theater.
Right on.
we can all just collaborate and put something out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my investor buddy, I hang out with him every so often, and he's always down to throw the money to put together an event.
Right on.
He just wants to have a good time.
Yeah,
you know what? I might pitch some ideas to you guys just because again I don't. It's me.
They don't do rom-coms.
No, I don't do rom-coms.
We do
You
not do rom.
I'm more of the drama
Michael.
guy. I'm more of the drama. I like drama, more suspenseful kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Wes Craven didn't even want to do horror movies.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I like people reading what I write anyways. So I'll pitch something to you guys. You guys let me know what you think. Maybe we can figure something out. Or if I can help you guys, whatever it may be. Anything else you guys want to say before we sign out?
Oh, anything you guys say there, bud?
Did I just hit the brakes really hard without? Yeah. There's a fly in here.
Yeah, that it's
Any Instagrams people can reach out to you guys?
Well, we
Facebooks?
are on Instagram under raven.roulette1. We are on Facebook under Raven Roulette. You can find me on Facebook under my regular Marlon B. Servellon.
Marlon
Brando. That's my actual middle name.
Wow. Cool. That's pretty good.
As for me, I between working and trying to get this entertainment stuff off the ground, I do a little streaming every night around midnight on Twitch.
Thought you were gonna say a little stripping or something on the side.
Hey.
Or something.
Streaming.
I'm full of surprises. You never know. Okay,
You got to do something to pay the bills,
There you
man.
go. Hey.
No,
I got
no
jiggle
judging.
them jiggly bits.
Yeah.
You might have
Shake
started
the money
a new
makers.
genre.
There's something out there for everyone.
There we go. Hey, the OnlyFans.
The old strip and stream. Why not?
If you want to find me and hang out with me on my streams, it's DIIIIIISH as Dish. I know it's a lot of eyes in there,
we'll
but
write
Dish
it
was
down
taken
somewhere in the description.
Yeah, it's 8 eyes.
Okay, cool. Did you guys have a good time
Eyes.
with us here? Yeah.
I've had a good time
for sure.
You guys want to come back soon?
Well, if you have the makeup artist and lighting and
I guess they're not coming back.
if you can work out something with the fluffers, that'd be great.
Okay, make me less fat now.
I'll get the long lens. I'll get the
Fluffers. You gotta have fluffers.
You gotta have
The
fluffers.
wide angle. Gotta fit you in there, bud.
Jonathan, you got anything else before we sign
It
out?
is now October 13th, right?
Yes, it is.
I don't know when this is
Friday
going
the
to come
13th.
out, but if your car got hit by a pumpkin, I wasn't driving. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so I think we're gonna sign out. I appreciate you guys coming out, hanging out with us.
Subscribe to these guys, by the way.
Thank you guys, and with that, we're gonna sign out. And that's gonna be our show for tonight. Like, comment, and subscribe. Remember, everything we said is in our opinion, and if you don't agree with it,